Do you know what an artist and a sniper have in common? Details. Like when a touch of color is out of place, when a shadow does not match with its surroundings, or when a shape is not where it is supposed to be. The only difference is the stakes. Mine are higher.
Hello, lads and gents, and welcome back to Talent League. What an amazing start off for today. It's going to be the Champion Series semifinal, game number unos. We're going to be looking at Goldinis face off against Illis Academia Spirit, or for short, IAS. So it's going to be a best of three. We're going to see who wins. Map 1 is going to be Chalet, Map 2 is going to be Villa, and the decider is going to be a beautiful old clubhouse. It's not Oregon. It is not Oregon. That's what we're happy about. But what we should be happy about is our co-caster. Hello, Arya.
Hello, I'm back. I'm finally back in the hot seat. Been gone for quite some time, so happy to get back into this. Cast's gonna be a little bit ropey. Bear with, but we're gonna have an absolute amazing cast none the least. Hopefully, we get to see the three maps. You know, we get to get Clubhouse. Haven't seen Clubhouse all that much. If we get to see it, would be absolutely amazing. So let's hopefully get to Clubhouse. Maybe. What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Prof? What are your opinions for this matchup?
You know, if my throat doesn't burn out from speaking so much, it would be absolutely fantastic to see some CC, some cash. Always love to see it. But yeah, Clubhouse is a nice map. Always love to cast it. Even if it is overused at times, or it used to be, still one of my favorite, if not my favorite map. But let's actually just enter the match. We're going on to Chalet, which, you know, through the staff, there's some people who don't like the map, some people who do. But let's just see if these teams can bring us a good match, at least from both sides, as we get a good have fun in chat. But from your experience on Chalet, Arya, what would you preferably ban?
Preferably, I'd like to take out kind of an Osa, maybe a Flores even. As you know, the Flores front, you're trying to hold top blue. But as I say that, we're going to see the Dokkaebi taken out first, which, no, Dokkaebi can bring a lot of into the mix, and she can be just one of those annoying operators. Taking her off the board is not something unusual, I don't think. But still, I would like to see, you know, a Flores, the Osa ban maybe coming out here as, you know, Osa,
Yeah.
she's quite difficult, can be quite annoying to play against. And the same with the Flores.
Ooh.
But we're not going to see anything like that. We're going to see the Nook taken out instead. So Flores and Osa both remain. And that's going to be quite an interesting one. What's your take on this one?
I mean, I understand the Dokkaebi, not out of the question. Besides Osa and Flores, one of the stronger operators. Nook, definitely. I feel like upstairs are the top hold, even when it comes to kitchen or something like that. Kind of nades can be used for the verticality, especially with her ability to kind of go up trophy stairs, go up library stairs without being detected as visibly as the other operators. She can be put into account, but I do agree the Flores could have also been a very viable pick. Okay, just to join her in, a very good pick. I mean, it just kind of, just a bit of a lifestyle pick. You don't want to mess with the Cade or deal with it a bit too much, so getting them out of the way is just an easier job. And to finish it off, it's going to be Solus, which, to be honest, Solus, yes, a very good operator. I would have seen her more commonly on Oregon or smaller maps where she can cover a lot more, especially with the pre-placed drones, but still a very good pick for Chalet. So yeah, I mean, round one, going into it, IAS starting on attack, as Goldinis will be starting us off on defense. Now, let's actually take a bit of a look at these lineups. I mean, on attack, it looks kind of usual. I mean, you mentioned the Flores. Of course, they're going to use them if they can. But we also see an operator that doesn't get used when it can be, and that's going to be Mira. What's your take on that?
Yeah, the mirror. A lot of teams nowadays, since, you know, the mirror gets banned quite often, they've worked their strategies around having that mirror being
Yeah.
taken off the board. So it's been, you know, seeing the mirror being brought out means, you know, we're looking to see kind of not the newest of strats that the side of Goldines are going to be bringing. This is going to be kind of reverting back to, you know, back before Mira was one of those insta-ban operators. So this could be genuinely very interesting to see, especially because they're not going to be bringing a Twitch on this side of IAS, which, you know, those mirrors are going to be quite difficult to deal with, and the attackers are going to have an awful difficult job to try and take this out.
Yeah, I mean, especially because, I mean, okay, yeah, they can push from office, but of course they're going to be hold kind of protecting the mirror. I mean, even this kind of the chimney and fireplace also protects the mirror window from the K9 balcony window. And of course, I mean, the Flores is in play, but Twitch and any type of other operator that can specifically counter Mira would, of course, be more efficient. Now, I'm assuming IS kind of has a loadout or a setup already kind of planned, so switching out an operator just for the Mira feels a bit unusual, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, Thumb's taken the first few shots actually very low, it seems like. And there it goes. Yeah, the K9, they can't really peek onto the Mira because of the chimney in the middle, but of course they can still take advantage of head holes and such. Now, here, the priority would be verticality, especially if you're playing bar games. You want to take it from upstairs, drop down, nice and easy, clear it out, but of course the defenders are there to kind of protect the attackers from getting such easy viability from the upstairs side, you know, getting those lines of sights, cutting off the rotations, and so on. So,
Yeah, 100%. You know, you're bringing the book and you're bringing the sledge. Also, Zofia does have the impact. As we say, that Joker's going to take a little bit of damage there, bring them down to about 60-ish HP. It's not going to be the most detrimental, but it's still not exactly going to be an ideal situation. But still, we're going to see these mirror setups into the late round come absolutely huge here. As the hatch is open, there's going to be a little bit of pressure being applied, but there's not a great amount going to happen here. Though some shots are going to be down. The toes almost being found in the operator, but not going to be quite, as these concussions are going to rain into the window. But there is a player there, as it's going to be the it's going to be the on actually to lose her life first, as the sledge also going to take a little bit of damage in return. But a refrag is going to be gained, and that's going to be the Jaeger also falling in that process. Still, minute 14 on the clock, ample amount of time here in a 4 versus 4 situation, but not much step weight has been made into the map as of right now. As we say that, another frag is going to be gained. That's going to be the that was going to be the one might actually find one of his own, and it's just a game of refrags as we're now left in a 2 versus 3. Still 1 minute to go.
yeah, I mean, Thumbs with the smoke still out, all 3 in the package, kind of ready to just waste his time. Mira, along with of course, Frost alive. The utility on Mira and Frost has already been kind of used, including the C4, so not much from there, but the smoke can still be a promising operator in this situation, especially with the close quarter SMG-11 and shotgun. He used up already 2, but of course, there's still Sledge and Hibana, which still have 1 nade, but the Hibana gets taken out. It's going to be Mutter, or actually last killer, may I say, and it's a 3v1 for the Sledge. Now, this is most definitely a difficult situation. You have 1 from above, 2 on side, they're kind of holding angles. You can't really move from this position right here. Even the smokes are all coming out. 15 seconds on the clock. What will Fantasy do? Doesn't seem like much. It goes down blue. He's holding him. But yeah, there it goes. And it's going to be, of course, Thumbs finishing it off. A very nice close-up shotgun shot onto Library or Blue Stairs, top Blue Stairs, whatever you want to refer to it as. And yeah, round 1 seems like it's going to be going over to the side of Goldinis. We're very well played. I mean, the vertical shot onto the Hibana most definitely made a difference, especially because she kind of is there to cut off rotation, so you can't travel between sites, you can't hold specific angles, stuff like that, and taking that out is very essential. But going on to round number 2, we're going to be heading over to upstairs, aka Master Bedroom.
Yeah, Master Bedroom, I honestly feel, is probably one of the more attacker-friendly sites for the simple fact it's been played so often and it was used as, your primary bomb site for so long. The attackers have now just built up a muscle memory on how to attack it, and it doesn't make it as viable in my opinion. But, Kitchen, and ideally you'd like to see Kitchen being brought second, but still that must mean Goldinis have got to play here for the Master Bedroom hold. And, they're just looking to return to basics. As we saw round number 1, where the mirror was played, it looks like they're just wanting to stick with basics. They're not looking to go out for, they're not trying to bring in new strats. They're just kind of trying to save things. Hopefully, once they get to the final, who knows? Then they can pull out the new strats. But until now, it just looks like it's going to go stick with the old and gold and keep plowing ahead.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, upstairs is here you can also play vertical just like with bar and gaming, but you can also kind of focus a bit more on the side of windows. Now, of course, bringing a sledge or something like that would be useful just to take out any questionable castles, but since there are none here, we can actually just take a look at this buck. Now, what we can assume from this buck, I mean, go from downstairs, play vertical onto kitchen, or from kitchen onto master, and so and so. Here it's coming. We already see some defense from the defensive side from down below, so we're going to have to see. Things are going to get rough any second right now, and it doesn't seem to be, mostly in ranked games or so and so. You kind of push towards library, take out, the main breach, and then go for the plan behind default on main wall. Now, as we're speaking, it's going to be Joker getting a kill onto Ramatov, and Azami seems out. A very good pick for the side of attack. I mean, Azami could be useful any second right now, but yeah.
Yeah, use the Azami. The Azami brings an absolute insane amount of intel, or not intel, I should say, utility. and they're quite difficult to deal with unless you have the Flores, which they are bringing the Flores. You need a lot of, it's a utility soak, essentially, is what your Azami is bringing. You can use it for make angles, but it is going to be that primary utility soak. You're just trying to reduce the amount of utility for the late round attacks that the attackers do bring. As we see a double Capcan set up on this. Do we see any attackers hit it? They're very much aware of that double Capcan, but I don't think we're going to be seeing anyone taking Capcans today. But again, in those late rounds, that's where the Capcans will be coming in crucial. As some shots are taken, as Joker is going to find one onto the Valkyrie, as he does take a little bit of damage, but he does come out on top in that gunfight. And that's going to leave us with a minute 15 on the clock here, as it's going to be Thumbs to find another one, as Joker finds also the refrag back onto Thumbs, and now it's a 4 versus 1 situation. And it's all coming down here to the 1 left in this 4 versus 1, as the Capcom Trap is actually going to find the kill, but as it's going to be the 1 taken down. And that is going to be the first round on the attack on the board for the attackers.
I mean, a very well attempted try at running out from the Valkyrie sadly didn't work out as planned, and it kind of went in badly. I mean, if the Valkyrie, I do believe she still had a C4, it could have also been very useful. I was going to mention there was a possible Capcan in bathroom. Something like that did happen, but it worked in the favor of the Wamai. Still, it was a 1vx, a 1v3, a 1v4. It was a very tough situation. He couldn't really have gotten out with much there. A very hard situation, especially being held from windows, being held from all sorts of doors, pushed, all that type of stuff. So yeah, in that situation, all you can do is kind of hope. But going back upstairs, I mean, IAS won their first round, and it was round number 2. So they're kind of equal on the amount of rounds. They don't seem like they're too far apart. I mean, the teams do seem like they're kind of equal in strategy based on how they play off. It just kind of comes down to situations like Capcan traps or something like that, or timing, you could even call it, that may get a team to the man advantage point. And we do see also a bit of loadouts, which is, I mean, at least for the side of attack, we have the Sledge now, along with the Buck, so I'm assuming that's also due to the nades, and I'm not sure if we saw the Rooney, but the Valkyrie earlier, so an interesting switch, and it seems like they're also going to be holding downstairs, just as previously mentioned, to kind of prevent the Buck verticality. Like I said, Buck, any type of verticality from the attacker side is a lot better for the attackers than for the defenders, to say it in the most nice way possible.
Yeah, a quick run out there, and it's going to be the head of the Azami found and taken off the board very, very swiftly. Not quite sure what the intent on that was, but it just didn't happen. Gold just was not there, and that's going to put the side of Goldinis on a very, a strong disadvantage very early on, as, again, we're losing those Azami barriers. There's no utility soak, there's no angles going to be created with them, and that's just a major disadvantage, so it's quite a surprising one to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, Goldinis are playing just a bit too aggressively than they should. I mean, that's the second run out in a row, it seems like. And I mean, Joker, the hot hand of the previous round, does seem to get taken out as well by Last Killer. So that's already, I mean, we're back to kind of equality here, but still, the runouts are very unnecessary. The kind of aggression they're putting up is not needed. Yet they still try just to kind of get picks and the early advantages, which doesn't seem to be working out. So, I mean, I guess third time's the charm. Maybe we'll see another one next round, but up until that, we're going to have to wait. Yeah, like we said, Library is right now getting pushed. It's going to be siding for a bit more on the side of main breach. There comes the Havana Fantasy with a nice grenade kill onto Ramotov. And yeah, Headhole's being challenged. Sludge can't really take that much. I mean, he could still use nades in this situation, but right now the optimal would be probably going for default plant. But we see Mute, we see Capcan, they both have C4, so that again, that could kind of get in the way of the default plant. I mean, the half wall protects you very well from bullet, but not explosive, bullets, that it can do, explosive not so much. So yeah, 1 minute on the clock, let's see what they're up to.
Yeah, a Rooney barrier is going to be kind of slowing them down just a little, but it's not going to be the biggest, as they're being aware of the flanks that may be potentially coming out, but it doesn't look like anything like that's going to be happening right now, as it's just mostly the members just waiting with open arms here for the attackers, as some shots are going to be fired, and those head holes on the wall are going to cause maybe a little bit of an issue here for the defenders eventually. As we say that, that's going to be a Rooney falling, and also a second one comes out straight away, and that's going to be Tums also falling. It's all going to be down to a 1 versus 4 here from Killer, and it's going to be the Sledge finding a swift headshot to put the round into the attacker's hands once again, and that's going to take us to 1 apiece.
A very well played. I mean, kind of When the blind situation now is that or it's being kind of set up, the defender can't really do much but go for the push. Because I mean, one of the main things the defenders do have on their side is the time. You know, the attackers are on a time limit, but when the diffuser gets planted, that's kind of switched around. So you don't want to have that on your situation. So taking out the sledge by possibility, or the guy who's the person who is holding the person planting protected, taking him out and then along with the planter is most definitely the way you want to go about it. But doesn't matter. IIS won another round. Round number 3 goes to them as we're heading on to round number 4, and that's going to be bar and games. I mean, again, we see this Frost. This is kind of the site that introduced Frost to kind of a new meta. You know, Frost was never really, back in the day, she was never really considered an excellent operator. This is exactly the site that kind of introduced her to that, and there's most definitely a lot of reasons, especially because of library, and of course the double window, which is also used for late plants, like with the double library, or not the double library, the bar window, the big bar window, the only one that's in there. It's also very good because when you jump inside of it, you also have some sort of half-wall protection, as we just saw a second ago. So it kind of works similar to the main breach upstairs, but take it with a grain of salt. It's not as protective, but what a shot from Fantasy. Shot at the window where Frost was kind of trying to, or Last Killer was trying to, you know, place down the Frost Trap. Didn't end up as he wanted, and yeah, first goal going to IAS.
Another first entry frag going to IAS in a situation of, you know, dire straits at the moment. It seems to be, you know, the members on the side of Goldinis are just kind of falling like flies. They're not really putting up too much of a fight against IAS, and we need to see some absolute fire, you know, building up here from the side of Goldinis. As we say that, though, there looks like there's a bit of head contention here. Not going to amount to much now, as it's just kind of after stalling out a little. There's not really a whole lot going on, as, you know, map control is trying to be gained, but the members of Goldinis are going to make that a little bit more difficult here, as Dump's going to take a shade of damage. Nothing at all really worth talking about, as map control here is slowly going to be tried to be clawed away. Another, to reiterate on your point, though, with the Frost, another reason she's brought out is she's got a 1.5 for 1. 1.5, as we know, is the big meta at the minute. And then she's also got the deployable shield and a pocket shotgun. She is the ideal loadout. As we say that, it's going to be the Hibana finding another frag. That's going to be the Lucy also falling down here, as the map control is slowly being clawed away here from the Goldinis. And they're going to enter themselves in as they find themselves a third.
What a shot from the side of the 417, taking out another. I mean, it's a 5v2 for the side of IS. Another very well played round from them, and it's looking even better. I mean, they have verticality. The only two left are kind of the Smoke and the Legion, which are pretty much stuck downstairs. They can't really do much. They have traps, they have smokes, but what's that going to help against a, you know, kind of a 5-man army of well-trained operators that are also in a competitive team? Ironically, there comes one shot. It's going to be the Twitch getting taken out by Thumbs. A very nice from the side of Bar Stock. The shots do get returned, though. It's most definitely going to be Hibana, kind of, you know, previously when she died, she was upstairs chilling. Now she wants some action downstairs. Goes in for the plant, and for the plant, not the plant, the plant. And it seems like the Legion's going to be out hanging in kitchen. Doesn't seem to be very close to sight, and he's kind of locked out by this point. I mean, it's a 4v1. He's pretty much just locked out of sight. I mean, there's people outside, people inside. Everyone's watching him from every angle. He can't do much, but kind of just, you know, shine out his black ice, and get one extra kill. A very good one for, I guess, for that T5 SMG.
Yeah, just get himself a little bit of consolation frag here on this side of Goldinis. They're going to be using this just kind of re-encounter. You know, just going to let him do his thing, but also discuss, you know, team issues and, you know, what's going on with the rounds, as that's the third round now, if I am counting correctly, that has come down to a 1 versus 4 situation, which, you know, if you're side of Goldinis, you're going to be really questioning that. Yes, Chalet is a bit of an attacker heavy map, granted, but still, you don't want, you know, this late into the round for it to be a 4 versus 1. You're only getting one entry onto the side of IAS. It's not your ideal situation, but IAS are absolutely having a stormer of a game. You know, they're executing perfectly, the frags are there, everything is just going in their favor, apparently.
Yeah, you kind of got to question yourself while on the side of Goldinis. What actually goes wrong? I mean, it mostly happens upstairs. It's mostly the frags, as you mentioned. They kind of just pick off one on by one. We don't see much refrags, though. We saw some previous refrags from the side of Goldinis, but more from the side of IS, especially on Joker. He got some good refrags up on top floor when they were there. And yeah, besides that, Goldinis, they kind of need to I would consider it positioning, but even then, it could either be down just to gunfights, which seems like IS is absolutely dominant there, or, you know, like I said, position timing, whatever you may call it. Now, going downstairs, you know, there's multiple ways you can push this. You can go main breach, take blue, whatever, go for hatches, play some verticality, or just push back garage. There's so many ways to go around this, but we see a very lovely operator who always everyone loves to go up against the Fuse. The Fuse, as we can kind of suspect, is probably going to be going vertical side, you know, taking out the sledge with him, just kind of to surround the third floor, or the second floor, whatever you want to call it, to make sure no roamers are there. And then, as you imagine it, the punk, punk, you know, the Fuse is going downstairs and blowing everyone up.
Going to create a little bit of a distraction here with the fuses, and actually we might even get to see, I'm not sure if we've seen it in Talent League before, but the strat where you go onto the mezzanine balcony and just punk those little things down, and you can get it into the basement without even having to get close to a bit of a defender. So we might see that potentially coming out here, and that is just something we'll have to wait and see, though, as that Cap kind of was just lurking around there, but he's going to get himself back into safety where he can just rest, you know, just not challenge anyone. But this main breach might be getting open shortly, and I really hope to see this, you know, the clunks coming through the ceiling here. We need to see some fuse charges. We need to see some fuse kills coming in. But as we say that, the sledge is going to start getting some holes opened up here, as the alibi of Thumbs is looking to get some contest here, but it's not going to happen, as Sledge has just kind of just got himself back into a bit of a safer position. As we say that, those clunks are going to be coming down, but they are not going to find any markers, and we are actually going to see the top floor clunks coming down, as we did previously mention. And still a minute 30 on the clock. No first frag has been found off the side of Goldinis. So it looks like basement has been a little bit of an improvement here. And this is definitely the round where Goldinis hopefully can try and take it from the hands of IAS.
Yeah, I mean, going for the hatchet right there. Again, verticality on this map seems to be quite a nice or a niche thing you want to go for. But still no plunks from the side of Fuse in the later seconds, as 1 minute is on the clock and the defenders are wasting good time. I mean, we don't see that much roaming, or at least that much aggression as we did earlier, which is some sort of adaptation, and it's looking to be quite favorable. I mean, verticality taking off some damage, not even damage, kind of the entirety of Thumbs' HP, but a refrag from the side of the Jaeger, a very nice shot. It's going to be the Fuse getting taken out, as long with Fantasy, a 3-4 for Goldini is not looking too bad. 35 on the clock. Floor is taking some heavy damage himself, so it seems like Icox is going to be getting one with a pistol, gets the second with a knife. A triple kill for him, and he goes for the fourth. Doesn't find it. Thermite's upstairs, but gets taken out by Ramatov. Oh my goodness, can we talk about the Capcan, aka Icox?
Absolutely insane. Just able to find himself a triple in the round, and a knife kill coming out on top of that. What are you doing, AS? How are you letting that happen? How are you letting that happen? As Icox, he's going to point that out and tell them to wake up. I mean, that was, you know, just how is that even allowed? You know, you heard the PMM going off behind you and you just didn't want to respond. You know, it's just an absolutely insane play. Let Icox go absolutely huge. And let's also point out how much of a stronger round that was coming out from the side of the Goldinis. That was, you know, they weren't putting themselves into dangerous positions early on. We love to see that. They're kind of after reeling things back in, get themselves to a little bit of a safer positioning. You know, they're not looking to bring out the level of aggression that the side of IS were playing into. So it looks like it's after benefiting them, and they have managed to get around on the board. If they can kind of transfer that over here to Master, we might see another round on the board. And as long as we don't see an overextend, and you know they're not getting too aggressive with the roam, this should be another Goldinis round, as they played that last round to an absolute T. So we see that replicated. I say we see a 3-3 split.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, for the previous round, if I saw kind of a big chunky Russian running, actually full-on blast sprinting at me with a knife, I couldn't react much either. But hey, if it works out for Icox, he got a double kill. Maybe some cheeky chats in the middle of that. But yeah, going on to round number 6. This is the final round before we get kind of a role swap. So IS right now winning would be a bit more preferable. I mean, getting the 3-3 score is always nice to see, but a 4-2 can actually kind of boost your morale, if you're gonna say it like that. And yeah, I mean, with how Goldinis have been playing the last round, as you mentioned, most definitely better, most definitely adaptation is there. There has been either a talk, or they just kind of woke up like Icox. kind of mentioned or suggested to the poor old Buck, as we're going to be going on to round number 6. They're back in to K9. It seems like they're going to be pushing upstairs, and yeah, it's going to be main breach, probably the same as we saw earlier. So let's see how it goes down.
As we say that, though, 2 people are also going to fall. As Joker and the Hibana are also going to find 1 apiece, bringing us to a 5 versus 3 within the first 2 minutes. That is not an ideal situation, as it looks like Goldinis have forgotten all of the previous work they put in last round. They've overextended themselves again, and it just has fallen slowly away from them, as some shots are going to be fired across. No refrags have been gained, as it's going to be the line also finding himself a 3rd in the round. This is not looking ideal here, as the Jaeger is going to swing out. He's going to find 1, though. Can he find the 2nd? He does find the 2nd, but he's going to get stricken down from the line. And now we're all going to be left to thumbs in a 1 versus 4, but a nade from below from Joker takes him out quite swiftly. Gives us a 4-2 split heading into IAS's defense.
Well, it doesn't look bad at all, IAS, as previously mentioned. Hey, they got the 4th round, they wanted it, and of course, with that, maybe that's going to be looking a bit more better on defense. Some teams do prefer defense a lot more than attack, and vice versa, and that, I think, stands for most teams. I don't think I've seen a team that just likes both attack and defense equally, but if IS right now is preferring defense a lot more than attack, we could be seeing a quick match, at least for the first match of this BO3. So, a very good starter, but yeah. Even with Goldinis kind of adapting as they did, and props to them. I mean, they did it a very quick way, and they also did it efficiently. They did it how they should, but they got to do it again, kind of. I mean, IS seems to be a lot faster, a lot more, just a bit more ahead of them. They're quite a few steps ahead of them, and if that continues, it seems like Goldinis will be walking home quite quickly. Now, I don't normally mention new found or new-sided operators as quickly, but a guy is being brought in, especially from the side of Icox, who has been doing quite good. I mean, 6-5-0, not too bad for a KD, and of course, the Oryx always love to see the Goatman, but I wonder what the Glass could be doing here. Do you have any idea, Arya?
Yeah, the Glass, and we're not even seeing the Maverick being played, so we're not going to see, anything like the cheese holes we made on Breach and the smokes being used. That's not going to be what the strategy is here. So bringing in the Glass it's quite an odd one. It's something, typically we don't see very often, and I'm generally going to be on the edge of my seat here this round watching, but actually this looks potentially could see a rush happening, as it's going to be that castle waiting there with open arms, and that's going to be the shock and a Joker finding 1. As the pocket shot, he's going to find the 2nd one, as Joker pops off with a double kill with that shotgun, and that's going to be putting us at a massive disadvantage, as Strictly's going to find another, as Joker finds himself a triple kill in the round. It's a 5 versus 1 situation here, and it's a flawless round coming out here from the side of IAS, and decimation, utter destruction coming out from the side of IAS, as an attempted rush was quickly and swiftly put to rest.
Wow, you never thought such a cute thing called a super shorty would be considered this deadly of a weapon, getting actually not a triple, double kill. But yeah, like Epsilon here, you can't hear him on the stream, but he didn't mention 30 seconds. That's all it took for this round to be over. That just says something. I mean, it was a very well attempt. Actually, I'll take back my words. It was an attempted rush. But most definitely, a castle with a super shorty looking down into your soul will not be any help to that rush. As of course, it's going to be a follow-up from Doc. It's going to be a follow-up from that and that. And it kind of just fell. I mean, it was a flawless one as well. So a 30-second flawless ended match, when someone says that, you normally expect the people who rushed to be the one who actually won, but it was kind of the other way around. So I was kind of getting a free win right there. I mean, I'm not even gonna lie. I can't say it any more nicely. Goldinis just absolutely threw that round for them. So yeah, like I said, it was attempted. But
I don't think one thing they were expecting was a super shorter to be sitting there with waiting open arms. I think, it looks like, IS kind of predicted it to a degree, where the castle was, sitting waiting for that castle barricade to get popped and them to run through. And that's unfortunate, as a spawn peak is going to come out, and that's going to find the last killer, and that's going to be your Yana, your nades, your intel, all stripped away. And this round could very much be a match point, as that's a lot of utility and a lot of intel being stripped off the board. But we're just going to see some Gaunt 6s being used, some repels being brought out here. And right now it's just kind of like the round is, they're just trying to get that foothold in the map, but you've lost such a crucial operator. Your foothold is going to be quite difficult here to gain.
Yeah, I mean, the sludge also for nades is quite useful, but that Yana is, oh my goodness, can we appreciate the wording right here? Yeah, the Yana we getting picked out so early, not good. I mean, you have grenades with that operator. That's probably one of the reasons she also get picked. I mean, her gadget is useful. She has a decent gun, but the nades are also one of the essential things. Now, her getting picked off, and then along with the sledge right next second, those are all the grenades out. So all you have kind of is Ash and 3 more flashes on the Lion as he takes out the 417. He gets a double kill for himself. Warden gets takedown. So yeah, flashes are actually kind of useful now, not like you have any more. As of course it's going to be Legion getting taken down. A 2v3, 1v3 for the side of Goldinis. A very nice kill, kind of got very aggressive for the Ash right there. She kind of just went into dining. I mean, hey, if it works, no one's going to be complaining. The plant is going down as fantasy. Yeah, he's going to have to abort the mission, at least from the side of Furnace. Not Furnace, it's Fireplace. And yeah, going for a bit of verticality if possible. He gets spotted by the Ash, actually takes her out, making it a 1v2, but he still has about a little less than half a minute to go. So with that remaining, I mean, the Lion, the Habana, they can just cross fire something, and they should be in a good position. 20 seconds barely on the clock, and yeah, kind of revealing himself in trophy. He's probably going to get shot down by the 417 any second right now. He's running low on the time, but it's going to be Habana from sight to finish him off. Wow, I did not expect that outcome, especially because the Sledge and the Yana were the first two to get taken out. So it was a 5v3, and Goldini still managed to pull back. Very impressive.
Yeah, it was a very impressive round. You're at a major disadvantage. Not even the man count wise, such utility has been removed from your hands, and yet you can still come ahead. I think we've got to give to Icox though with that one. Jumping in, getting the double kill, bringing the man count back level, and then the Ash going absolutely insane, taking down 2, bringing it to a 1 versus 3. And then poor defenseless Jaeger caught in a crossfire. You can't really do much in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good attempt from Jaeger. At least we can give him that. I mean, once your position gets revealed when the diffuser is down, you're kind of screwed. I mean, they can just hold that angle and you can't really do much. It's also a 2v1. If you kill one, the other one pushes you. It's a really optimal situation you got to be put in to actually win it, especially in competitive. In ranked, it's a bit different because ranked people, they get cocky at times. They push you. It's a 5v3, then it's suddenly just a 1v1. It's all that type of stuff. But competitive, this is different. We use Yana and Capitao here. This is not just casual Ace and Thatcher type stuff. But yeah, also as mentioned, Capitao, a very underestimated operator. I feel like, I still feel like he's very underestimated. Yes.
Yeah, I agree 100% on that one. Capitao is underused for one, and the firebolts, another thing. You can, bullet holes don't exist anymore. You can still bullet hole the fire arrows through. Use the smokes. He offers quite a lot of utility than people give him credit for. It can be crucial to some rounds. Again, the meta has kind of slipped out of that kind of situation where he isn't as necessary anymore due to you have a Ying, you can bring a Glass, all that good stuff. But still, Capitao is always a good pick to bring. As we say, that Joker's going to find himself an open kill on thumbs. Nades are going to be thrown through, and that's going to be another frag, as that's going to be the smoke finding the Honor and bringing us down to a 5 versus 3 within the first 2 minutes again. As that seems to be quite a common trend here for this matchup, don't you agree?
Yeah, it seems like Yana and Sludge like being taken out very early, and we're back. Yeah, like mentioned, it's a 5v3, and I was gonna say maybe we're gonna have a repeat of a round, but it's gonna be Finka next, put into a 5v2. A very low chance of winning this, as Icox himself gets taken out. A triple kill from the side of him. And, of course, a flawless round from the side of Smoke. Yeah, I do apologize if I can't pronounce any names. That Smoke name just... I had to read it for a second, and I still couldn't get it through my head. Oh my god.
Some of the names are quite difficult. I use operator names because I can say them quick, and it works. It does the job.
Sucar Okay. Well, yeah, let's just not use that.
Let's just go Maestro.
Yes.
Quite easy, quite simple. Maestro.
The way to go.
It does the job. It gets our point across.
Oh yeah, man, I wonder how people like. I wonder how people get to those names. That's like I need to know some sort of lore behind that. But yeah, seems like IS is going to be 6-3. Match point, may I say. So right now it seems like Goldinis need to win 3 rounds in a row to go to overtime to even have a chance to win. And with how they've been performing, I mean, I think one of the rounds was a bit of a mistake from the side of IAS, a bit of a lack of awareness. As remember when Jan and Sludge died the first round, it was kind of a 5v3. That round could have also been won by IAS, I feel like, but they just kind of, I feel like they kind of let go for a second. So taking that was a very good part of Goldinis' plan. But even then, the next round, kind of the repeat. I mean, the kind of nades get taken out, all the utility, and then there's man advantage, all that type of stuff, and it's in the first couple of seconds, so yeah, not wanted, not really good.
Yeah, it's not in the most ideal situation here, but we also got to give credit. IIS is on fire at the minute.
Oh, yeah.
Everything is absolutely perfect. They're just hitting the shots. They're stamping down the attempts of pushes on the side of Goldinis they're trying to bring. Nothing just seems to be working in the way Goldinis and IAS are just finding those holes in the armor and just picking right through. And they're not having any issues apparently. As we say that, though, a full basement clear looks to be coming out first, as we want to see some repels appear onto Solar. As they're just going to try and gain some of this map control, as it is going to be a kitchen defense, if I am correct, which I think I am. But we'll say that Flores drones going to be coming through again. Flores drones just showing us why Flores is such an important operator here. As the amount of utility Flores can take is just crazy.
Yeah.
4 of those drones, it's just insane.
Yeah, nades are kind of, they're good for utility, good for that and that, but the thing with floors is not only can you take kind of surpass Jaegers, not surpass mutes and Mozzies, that is true, but with the point with floors is once you start actually detonating the drone, there's no stopping the removal of that said gadget that's going to be destroyed. So floors is, once it starts, it doesn't stop. So yeah, Flores a very good operator. Gun's also pretty decent, and then he has flashes because why not? I mean, why not just blind your enemy, blow up their entire setup, and then just shoot him down? Because that's how you break a man when he's down. And talking about breaking man, it's gonna be Legion getting a pick on his own onto Trophy. Icog's getting taken out. Guess what the operator would be? Another round where Sledge is gonna be the earlier pick. God, it's happening a lot, but a bit of resistance from the side of Thumbs, taking out the Legion that kind of continued the trend of Sludge and Yana.
Yeah, the Sledge and Yana have seemed to be. It looks like kind of going for grenade magnets here. It's Wamai on the gun. It's Wamai discs on bullets at this very second. As any operator that carries a nade, generally the first frag. But as we say that, though, it's going to be another frag as the Maestro is going to
Oh
find
my
one.
goodness.
And that's going to be taking down your Yana and the Sledge. First to take it off the board. No one's surprised. As Joker finds himself another, Maestro finds himself another as well. Put us in a 4 versus 1 situation here. And that's all she wrote for the side of IAS as they take map number 1, 7-2-3, if I am correct.
Yes, a very well played match from the side of IS, and Chalet is going to be done with. Next map, be tuned in. We're going to be continuing on to Villa, a map that we kind of used to be in the space of common picked maps beside Border, actually not Border, Oregon, and of course Clubhouse, but now Villa is a bit more, laid out. So, yeah, you're going to be waiting for us for a few, give us like 5 minutes to cool down, and actually 10 minutes. Yeah, we're gonna go for 10 minutes.
We have to go
We've
for an
gotta-
extended break. Just takes a little bit longer time. We're lazy casters here apparently as
and
so we just need a little extra time.
I think someone also needs to take a dookie or a number 2, as you call it. But we'll be seeing you then.
4 apps.
Where is it written that all our dreams must be small ones?
Hello, and welcome back. We're back for round number 2. As we saw previously, IIS won with a devastating 7-3 blow against Goldinis, and while the Goldinis did have some adaptation, of course, IIS in the end was a lot stronger, was a lot better on the attack, and the never-before-seen Sledge and Diana dying first round, so that was quite a common trait. Yeah, we do have...
Yeah, mute. That's not very fun. But as we said, we're going to get into the match here and we will get going. So, bear with now. As we said, first bands are going to be coming in here. Round number 2. Do you reckon we're going to see an absolute domination that we saw for map number 1? Or is this going to be a little bit of a, a tighter game overall?
To be honest, I kind of feel like Villa has a similar vibe or mood to Chalet. They're not similar maps or don't have similar strategies, metas, but I just feel like it has a similar mood. I don't know, something connects the two. I have no clue, but I mean, the bands are seeming quite similar as we have the Dokkaebi, but instead of the Dokkaebi, actually we have the Nook, but instead of Dokkaebi, it's going to be the Flores coming out. So, interesting how we don't see him banned on Chalet, but hey, Flores is still good here. He's a very good operator. Now, for defense, what do you say, Arya?
Honestly, I'm going to say we'll maybe see that Mirror Beam taken out. That Solus, I think, is just becoming an insta-ban nowadays. The teams are just not wanting to face it as of now. But one thing, while we're waiting on the last ban to come out, I want to jump back to that Flores just a little bit quickly. Just, with the Kiba barriers, if we don't see an Azami ban, I will be quite surprised, by the way. Just going to put that out there. But we're not going to see the Azami ban. We're going to see the Valkyrie ban instead. That means the Azami is on the board, and that Azami is going to be left there with free reign. You have Wamai, Jaeger, and you can bring your Azami. Those Kiba barriers are going to be the bane of the attacker's existence here on this map. This is not going to be an enjoyable time.
Who needs Azami when the attackers have a Maru? I mean, I'm just saying, you grapple repel onto 9-day window and you die. That's the plan. But yeah, Azami being kind of free to do as she pleases is a very good strat, but doesn't matter. I mean, they don't seem to be bringing her at all. So yeah, I mean, Azami's kind of been in the meta due to the fact that she's kind of... Not only is she just a more, I guess, free castle, to say the least, she's kind of like an old Goyo replacement. The amount of shields you kind of have, or substitutes for shields you could call for the Azami, but hey, she is a very good operator, and including those pixel peaks that you can kind of get out of her gadget, it is absolutely off of the edge. So yeah, going Aviator, we also saw some extension over into Master Bedroom. You definitely don't want to give too much ground, too much cover to the side of attackers, because if you do, they kind of progress into Trophy, they progress onto 90, and then that's already taken out, so you kind of get surrounded very easily. So most definitely that is going to be an important... So my goodness, I am a loss of words. We have the Finka, the Maru, the Sens, the Line, but there comes Thomas the Tank Engine, aka Blitz himself, so we're gonna see how this turns out.
This is going to be a bit of a rush here, I think. I'm hoping for a little bit of a rush. Hopefully this time it's not going to be a Shelley-themed rush, where it's completely shut down instantly. As we say that, though, preparing for the vault, it's going to be the Mozzie of Joker falling down early on as well. It's going to bring us now to a 5 versus 4 situation, as the person going to fall down the hatch. It's going to also lose his life in a double kill for Ramatov, as the intentional as a team kill with the smoke canister, as the Finka finds one. And this round has just been flipped on its head here, and this is looking in all in complete favour here on the side of Goldinis. As we say that, though, the SMG 11 in hand, and that takes down the final remaining player, VAS, and Goldinis take a very, very convincing round compared to map number 1.
I kind of can relate to the people that say when they're actually speechless, and Amaru in the house in the chat, what just happened? I mean, Mozzie trying to go for a bit of a cheeky window on the 90 run out didn't seem to work out. There was a very spicy operator waiting for her, or the Mozzie, not a woman. I do want to take back my word. For him, outside of the window, jumps back in. The Amaru gets the flash, gets a second. The smoke was questionable. I mean, he got one, but the second one was a bit on the other side of the roll. So, questionable how that went, how that actually happened. But, kind of it kind of seemed reversed. You know, in the previous Chalet game, it seemed like it was always IAS with the side of a 4v1 and an XV1 that had in the end. This time it was Goldinis actually took kind of advantage of that, and that rush, well, as long as there's no super shorty, I think they can pull it off pretty well as we see the Blitz back into action.
Yeah, that round was, compared to the first rush we saw, where Super Shorty was the absolute demise, that round, they got the opening pick, and from there, it just kind of fell apart. I don't think it was intentional for the operator to fall down, whoever it was fell down the hatch to land on top of the Amaru. Don't think that was quite intended to happen, but unfortunately, that's how it did happen, brought us into a 5 versus 3, and after that, it was kind of just a whitewash once, the team kills came out, and it just slipped away. IAS maybe taking the foot off the pedal there, just a little, but the sense charges. We haven't seen this much before, and that's unfortunate, as the Blitz is going to run through, the Amaru is going to fall, and that's going to be actually Blitz finding himself one. As a sense, they're going to start pushing their way in through, but that's going to be the smoke and slow that down a little bit as a double kill comes in here, as it's a 2 versus 4 situation. IAS is looking blinded here. There's no response, as it's now all going to be down into a 1 versus 4, as a shot's going to be found. SMG11 hand finds one more, and it's all going to be left here, as the second headshot's going to be found, though, in a 1 versus 2 situation. This is quite winnable. That diffuser is going down, as the sense is going to be sticking at the smoke. Babe's going to be ringing out, though, but that's not going to be able to find and meet the planter, as it's all going to be down, as the Lion finds the final kill and bring us the second round on the board here for Goldinis, as they are looking so convincing. These rounds are getting so aggressive, and IAS just not having the response that we need.
You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It happened for the second time in a row, and Goldinis again with another rush. Guys, yeah, it seems like Icox, like previously, is kind of calling it out. But yeah, no, it's a bit interesting how even with the Sens kind of just throwing his discs, his ISO CD at the Blitz's back knee, it even worked out even after that. I mean, Blitz rushed into top main, he got the Wamai, and it didn't just kind of like chained after that, same as in the first round. Hey, it's working out very well for Goldinis, and this is, I mean, it is some sort of improvement, at least from the previous match, to say the least. They got the first heads up for the first 2 rounds, so very, very nicely executed. I mean, if it works, there's nothing to complain about, but yeah, we're going to be seeing IS kind of switch out routes. It doesn't seem like they're going to be going for a rush anymore. Goldinis got their 2 rounds, and they're going to be backing off that type of meta, you could say, or play style, but it still seems like there's going to be a lot of utility on the side of Goldinis. Now, previously they lost Diana, they lost the Sledge, they kind of lost very quickly on the side of utility. This time, they're not going to be doing that. They have the Ash, they have the Zofia, the Sledge, Diana, the Spompy comes out, or the run out, actually does some damage to Thumbs. I'm surprised that wasn't a headshot. The Warden getting away cheeky. He didn't take any damage himself, managed to make a bit of a difference on the enemy team, but better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah, small little bits of damage. It's better than no damage whatsoever. Whether that'll be a round-changing moment, who knows? That is kind of going to be yet to be seen. But that C4 actually on that window probably could take down that Zofia, but those my discs are going to be thrown out, and we'll see an Echo shotgun, which is quite unusual. The Warden getting a little bit aggressive here on the window. Will that little bit of damage that he took off earlier be enough to take her down? Who knows? But I would say that's going to be the Izami taking quite a chunk of damage actually from a nade, and it's just going to be a lot of just utility dump that we're going to be seeing here, as the round has kind of stalled out. We're not seeing the heavy aggression that we were seeing earlier on from the side of Goldinis. They've just kind of, they're trying to change things up a little. Do you want to keep the side of AAS guessing? You don't want to let them know. You always got to stay that one step ahead.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, not many frags being dropped on just yet. Joker looking low on HP, but the zombie barriers are still ready to go as the first one gets dropped onto Echo. It's going to be Alcox from Guang. He gets the second with a bearing 9, gets his refract by Joker. Of course, 1 kill as well from the side of AAS, but a double refract from the side of Goldinis. It all happens instantly. It's back to 1v3 situation, and IAS kind of trading these maps. It seemed like one map, it seemed like they're going to be having a bit more of a better time on these 1vx's, and the other is going to be kind of turned around. Plant is going down. Ashton Sophia kind of just holding this point. Mozzie, but oh, he gets 1. It's a 1v2 situation. A very nice shot. Can he get the second? Very close, but not close enough, as Last Killer is going to be finishing it off. A very nice shot, to say the least. That was very quick and smooth. There were some refrags from the side of IS, which, well done. But Goldinis, they most definitely hit back as we're going to be heading on to a timeout. So, what do you think Goldini switched up in their play styles or strategy that could be giving them the upper hand?
Honestly, it looks like they've kind of before on Chalet we saw they were trying to get aggressive. They were bringing the aggression into the matchup, but it was more sporadic and it was more single bits of aggression being brought in. This time we're seeing all the aggression being kind of ganged up in one big chunk. All the members of Goldinis, they're sticking together. They're there for the frags. They're not there's no one solo pushing. There's no one trying to get aggressive on their own. It's all just a big group effort. It's not no one is making the solo plays, which I think is what we needed to see coming out here from Zeta Goldinis. And it's ideally what's working for them. And that last round especially, it wasn't the hyper aggression that we saw from round 1 and 2. They kind of slowed it down a little and then ramped it up. There wasn't a straight in, let's go for it, guns blazing. And I don't think the side of IES are, they're not really adapting to it that much.
Yeah, I mean, for the side of defense, this is looking really tough. I mean, pretty much every run has kind of been a 1vX for them. There's no question about it. This is looking a lot more brutal than it was for how well they were doing on Chalet. I mean, on Chalet, at least it looked like both of the teams were kind of, okay, IS definitely had the upper hand, but, Goldinis were still putting up a fight. They were still kind of progressing. There was still adaptation. For IS right now, these 3 rounds went faster than a normal BO5. Well, no, that doesn't make sense, but yeah, no. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Want me to just say something just so we can let people forget that you said that?
I'm gonna drink water. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So these rounds, they're just in such a strange pattern that IES just doesn't seem able to pick up. IES now at the moment are kind of the favorites to win this tournament, but still, when you pull out such sporadic strats that that just catches them so off guard that they're not prepared and they're just, they can't adapt that quickly to them. You're bound to take some rounds, and that's exactly what the side of Goldinis are being able to pull out of here.
Most definitely. I mean, going back onto Trophy and Statue, let's see what the adaptation is going to be here. I mean, the attackers seemed kind of going for the master side yet again, and it worked out once, could be working out again. It's going to be a split push, most definitely. I mean, we already see the Habana and kind of the Astro side as well to just put some pressure on the window, especially just breaking that window alone can put just a small amount of pressure on the defensive side. We see some closet camper. It seems like this Frost is going to be ready to take action on close quarters. There, the shotgun, she takes some free fire onto the window, but up to no avail. Drones are coming out, and as much as we'd love to assume, there's probably frost traps under the window, so I'm assuming she's just kind of waiting for the vault, which actually wouldn't be too bad of a strategy. I mean, you're just waiting for the vault. When they vault in, they either shoot you or the trap, so it's kind of a guaranteed, I guess, trade. So, might as well go for it. It's probably a very aggressive and good play, especially with how IS has been playing a lot more defensively, at least it seemed like, comparing to the previous match. Now, this is why probably Azami gets banned. She is a very annoying operator to deal with, and especially, just like you mentioned at the start of the match, tagged along with like a Wamai, a Jaeger, it becomes a nightmare to deal with, especially with the Frost. They can't get her out, and she's wasting precious time. Seems like there's going to be some roam on the side of Aviator, but doesn't matter. The Frost gets taken out, and so does Icox temporarily.
Yeah, Icox fallen as well. But one thing to mention, we have just seen the Frost fall, but there's only a minute 15 on the clock. They have burnt a solid minute and a half here from that Frost, those Zami barricades, and just the Jaeger and OMI being played. That's, it's an insane amount of time to being able to burn and only losing one member. Yes, you're able to get refrag in as, but still, it's just such an amount of time that you're able to burn just from one operator with a little bit of utility. That just shows the strength in the Azami and why she should have been banned here in the ban phase instead of a Valk. Yes, Valk can be a pain, just bring that IQ, counter the Valk. It's not, the ideal situation, but at least you're not going to be caught with that utility soak that the Azami barriers are going to be putting on the table for you. Still up to about 35 seconds on the clock, and it's still a 4 versus 4 round. Is kind of stalled out here. It looks like side Goldinis with that much time burnt, but a beautiful headshot comes out there as it's going to be Fantasy of IES falling here, and that brings us now to a 3 versus 3 as a refrag with a Capcan trap is going to be found. and that's going to be Zofia taking also a major amount of damage here, but it's going to be the Iana finding one, and now we're going to be in a 2 versus 3 situation. 2 versus 2 as a refrag is found as the Jaeger finds himself one, and there's still a member not even in the site at the moment, as a shot's going to be fired across the Zofia on low HP, but it's 2 versus 1 situation here, and this should be all sure out here for the side of IAS as they try to get the first round on the board, and time is going to run out, and that's going to be the defenders. IAS take their first round on defense.
You know, maybe the first 3 rounds weren't looking as good as they should be, but they most definitely hit back this one. I mean, the time wastage on the Frost, like you mentioned, you know, normally it's kind of, you know, the Vigil Caveira type of playstyle that's supposed to waste time, the roamers, as we call them. But, you know, sometimes a Closet Frost works out just as fine, along with one Azami wall. And, you know, just put those things together in 1 minute and 45 seconds, boom, gone. Kind of a very viable strategy. I mean, you can't even, like, just jump in and kill the Frost either. You actually have to waste a lot of utility getting rid of the Frost drives that are probably there. It's either a trade or you waste utility and then time, which, well, we saw how it worked out here, but let's see how they're going to be actually managing to kind of put that type of playstyle, like the time wastage, onto the side of Aviator. I mean, you don't really have Closet to play here. You can do it to extend into Master or into Statue. You can do that type of extension and play Closet there, but that's not the main objective now, is it? So, yeah. We're also going to be seeing a bit of an interesting pick from the side of Goldinis. It's going to be good old Monty. So, Monty, well, never mind. It's going to be Jackal along with Nomad. So, at least we should be, I think, expecting a bit more of a split push. I'm assuming some sort of Master on the side of here. We don't see a Buck, because with Buck, with Yana, all that type of stuff, we'd go for Brutality. But, hey, Icog's bringing the Bravo. Let's see how that's going to be getting used against the Capcan.
Yeah, one thing though I'm not seeing enough of here is grenades. Or, you know, last round we had the Zofia, but there's, you know, we're not seeing nades being brought out here. There's a few stuns, but there's only one set of nades here on the Iana. That's with all those Kiva barriers that, you know, the side of IAS are going to be bringing, and how, like, you know, crucial they were for that last round, and you only choose to bring 2 grenades to try and deal with them. I'm quite unsure on what the plan is for them with that. You know, the utility is just not there. You know, you have your impact EMPs, which are, you know, they can, you know, for the 1x discs, for the Jaegers. But as we say that though, you don't need those EMPs when they're gone off the board, as that's going to be the line also falling with those. And do we get to see a potential Capcan trap pack? Who knows? But those Kiva barriers, again, we had mentioned, they're there, they're blocking those lines of sights, and they're just going to slow down the attackers. They don't have anything to deal with them.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the EMPs were a bit kind of not in the plan, I think. I mean, the line is very useful just as in gadget-wise. He's a very good operator, but we don't see a Hibana or anything like that on the side of Goldinis right now. So I'm assuming main breach. Well, there's only to main to assume and to know any type of breach is out of the question. So it seems like 90 would be their top priority, taking out Study, just kind of hold off angles, kind of try and, I guess, suffocate in a way the defenders so they're pushed into these corners where they can just take them out one by one. I do like the... Wow! Talking of things we love to see is going to be the Thorn run out. Maybe, you know, the first round where we saw the run out from the Mozzie's side onto the Amara wasn't as successful, but this one was a sure hit, making it a 5v3 for the side. But the second I say that, it's a 4v2. Joker gets one right before that. It's going to be, of course, the Thorn that ran out getting taken out. Ash and kind of Nomad, it seems like, are pretty much left alone. This is why you want to bring nades, as mentioned previously, or at least a Zofia. These Azamis are a nightmare.
Yeah, they're a complete nightmare. And to why Azami made it through a ban phase here just completely eludes me. I have genuinely no idea. It's, you know, you're not bringing the utility you need to clear that. You know, the stuns are there. But there's going to be so many Azami barricades because the Azami is staying alive to the final 30 seconds here. And that's going to be a beautiful clean headshot through the head holes on the wall. The second almost found, but the Nomad is going to try to get onto that cross angle. Not going to quite land those shots. Impact is going to come out and the shield's going to be gone. And the bullets are going to finish the job. And that's just going to show the use of these Azami barricades in perfect, you know, fashion. And it just shows how strong they are. So why the side of Goldinis are not looking to try and bring more utility to try and flush these out quite is it's a confusing one.
Yeah, it's a real mystery. I mean, I can see why they brought the Ash, but I feel like Yana and Sledge would kind of be already necessary just for other utility-wise. I mean, you have the Ash for the Azamis. You can even bring extra nades. You can either bring, you know, what's her name, Zofia, but those nades from Ash and Yana, or not Ash and Yana, Sledge and Yana are already necessary in the beginning for type just frags, verticality, any type of utility like, you know, shields, all that type of stuff. So, you know, just kind of bringing a Yana and an Ash only is a bit out of the question, but it doesn't seem to work out, so maybe we're going to be seeing a change of pace. An interesting lineup we have here from the side of defense. It's going to be a bit more trappy. We have the Thorn, we have the Smoke, the Capcan, and the Frost, so, you know, there's going to be a lot to look out for. Wouldn't be surprised if there was a Legion as well, but it seems like it's going to be being replaced with an Azami, which, to be honest, it's not surprising. With how strong Azami has been just throughout general, not even these matches or rounds or competitive, it's in general Azami is considered one of the strongest, to be honest, if not even the strongest operator currently. But yeah, let's actually see what the attacking side is going to be doing. I'm just going to say, playing out, it's going to be verticality.
It's going to be a lot of verticality here, as you know, the Azami barricades are great for your horizontal takes, but when you start bringing in the verticality, the Azami barricades can't really do much to stop you unless you're actually going to just save them up for that. Again, it's not exactly the best use of them, so it will be interesting to see how that will be used to counter, which, you know, when you can bring a verticality against the Azamis, it's helpful, but you're still going to have the shields there to try and slow you down, and there's going to be roamers upstairs, so you're going to have to do a full top floor clear before you can even attempt to try and take some of this. But as we say that though, Thumbs is just going to completely ignore me. As Thorn Trap is going to take a chunk of damage off of him, but it's going to be the Thorn on top to try and take him down, which she indeed does. Brings us down to a 5 versus 4 with 2 minutes on the clock. First opening pig, as we said, the Frost is also going to find second a headshot to land to try and take down a second defender, and it's going to be the Ace also taking some return pre-fires. And this round just slipping away here from the side of Goldinis. As we say that, don't they get their first refrag back, and it's actually going to be the Sledge to be able to get one who hasn't been taken down for some reason. They'll have the Shell Curse, but still 1:35 on the clock, and there's not really much happening right now.
I mean, I'm quite surprised they're not going for verticality, to be honest. I mean, the Thorn upstairs, to be honest, of course there would be someone upstairs. This site especially is kind of based off of verticality most. I'm surprised they went for a bit more of a pantry side push, or like, you know, laundry just to try and take it out. But I'm assuming they did scan a lot of trap operators, especially with the Capcan. I know they got the Frost. The Thorn came in a bit late with the Line, who kind of just ignored it for a couple of seconds, hoping he could survive. Took heavy damage, but then the Thorn did notice it. The Hatch play came in, and of course, that was the line of the match. Talking about people getting taken out is going to be Fantasy getting taken out by Icox. Another kill from the side of Joker, making a 3v2 situation. Pushing in, the Smoke is ready to kill. He gets one. Oh, the C4 comes out. Talk about a finisher. A 3v1 for Ramatov. And yeah, Yana's going to be a bit of a sticky situation. 3 operators just kind of looking into one angle. You don't have much of a fighting choice. Trying to go for the diffuser. The pings are coming out. That Smoke is being very cheeky on the shield. Manages to get into sight. Just for now, the Frost gets pinged, and yeah, you're kind of just laying on the floor with holes all around you. Gets pushed, and there it is. IAS with their third round one?
Third round. So we have a 3-3 split.
All right.
So this, you know, as you know, they're saying in chat, the shield meta is back. You know, the utility, they're just, it's quite unusual to not. I'd love to really speak to the side of Goldinis after this to figure out why they're not trying to counter for these shields. You know, why we didn't see any vertical play. It was only the Thorn I could see top floor. You only had one defender top floor to try and deal with. You know,
it's like they also pinged the shield. I was assuming because they were gonna go from upstairs naded or something like that. I was assuming that have some sort of connection, but no.
It just seems that, you know, they're trying to play new attempts in Siege, trying to change things up, spice it up a little, and it's just not happening. It's just not it. The strats are just not there. You know, you had an amazing first half of that split, and then the second half of your split just slipped away from you. It's just you know the expression "lost for words." That's just how I am with how those last 2 rounds played out.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the wrong time and place to be trying out new strategies, metas, and so on and so on. So, you know, a bit of a weird situation here. But the roles did get swapped. So we're going to be seeing IS on attack, which is going to be very decent. A bit of a spawn peak, which Goldinis on Chalet was quite known for doing these, but from the first few, didn't seem like it was going in a good direction. The audio, I do believe audio call comes out, but yeah, we're going to see if there's going to be any runouts like previously when IS was on defense. There comes the window was broken on the bottom bathroom side, so maybe we can get some sort of connection from that. We also see the shields, and this is what we're saying. They have an Ash, a Buck, a Yana, and a Sledge, just to make sure verticality and destroying those shield slashes Zamis, which Azami isn't even spotted on Goldinis, and this is supposed to be the default spot. So I'm a bit surprised, like you mentioned, Goldini's not taking everything to their advantage. But as we speak, it's going to be Ramatov refragging, kind of, as Icox also does get taken out.
Yeah, bringing us into 4 versus 4. And one thing I really want to just kind of rubber back onto your point there, just saying, there's no Izami. You're one of the strongest defenders in the game, if not the strongest. You're just choosing not to bring her. There's a beautiful shot there comes out from the Bucket Joker, and that's going to be taking down your Frost, if I'm aware. I think that's correct. And that leaves us in a 4 versus 3 situation. And it's just, the rounds here are just slipping away from Goldinis. You're just not quite able, they're getting the little bits done, but it's just not adding up to enough to get a full round here. And IAS, I think they might be running away with this again.
Yeah, they kind of had a grasp on at the start for the match, but now it seems to be slipping away, and it is not looking good at all. Yeah, I'm still really surprised, and sometimes you kind of wonder, let's say Mira isn't banned and you don't use her, that's like, okay, yeah, you mentioned in the previous map that Mira has kind of been put out of strategies just because of her common bans, but Azami most definitely can fit into anywhere. She is so expandable and such a good operator in any sort of way that it's just astounding. And as we're speaking about that, it's gonna be Mute, it's gonna be Malusi, both getting taken out. A 4v1 and IS back on top right now, looking like a very good 1vx situation. 1v4 to be exact for them. And yeah, Vault getting stuck, Thumbs can't do much, throws C4s, doesn't manage to get a pick just yet, the plant is going down, he gets spotted, and there you go, the nades are coming in, and the Sledge with, the one who actually threw the nade, finishing it off with a very nice shot. May I mention that? That buckshot on main stairs was also quite satisfying, but IAS getting their 4th round in a row.
Yeah, things here have just slipped away from Goldinis.
Yep.
It's hard. I was going to say it's kind of difficult to tell, but it's not. It's really not difficult to tell why these rounds have slipped away. Your defenses, you're not bringing the strongest operator. Izami, yes, they have the nades to deal with it. They, the side of IS, they are going to be prepared to deal with, all these Izami barriers. But you can still delay time. You can still slow them down even a slight bit with that Izami. But you're choosing not to do so, which is quite strange. And also their defenses, or for the attacks, I should say, they just weren't bringing anything to counter these Izami. So it just seems like this game has just been spun on in the Izami play, pretty much, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, IS was using Izami to their utmost potential, although the first 3 rounds it didn't work out just because of they kind of couldn't counterplay the amount of aggression that was happening all at once, but they did manage to bring it out in the last half, so, Izami does make, I guess, a difference. Not, I guess, she's just a very strong operator. That's how she is. I mean, I don't think there's a map where she can't be used. She's the most expandable operator. She has very good guns. And impact / good decent secondary gadgets. So all along with that, to be honest, almost a perfect operator. But wow, what's not perfect is gonna be a Bailiff. Actually, no, that's a Keratos. Nice shot onto Icox. Ramatov seems to be praising that. I don't know if that was intentional. But most definitely was not a good thing for the side of Goldinis. I mean, a 4v5 this closely, especially taking out a Vigil. The amount of frag potential the Vigil has, a very good gun, and of course, with kind of the availability to remove him being spotted by drones off the top as Ramatov gets another one, and, well, at least that Vigil kind of gets refragged.
Essentially a refrag, but again, not an ideal situation to be in here if you are on the side of Goldinis. Which Goldinis, I think, just leave a lot of question marks this game. You have team kills coming out, you're just not clearing out your utility, you're not bringing your Izami in some situations. There's just some things that they're doing that is just leaves question marks above your head, really. But as we say that, though, another one of them is going to fall, as Goldini's going to be left in a 4 versus 3 situation here. The book of Joker is going to be left on a little bit low HP, as he's sitting around 40, 35 HP thereabouts. But it looks like we could actually see some nades from below here, though, as shots are going to be coming out here from the from the Brava. Not going to be quite landing, as that player is just going to be zigzagging across the doorway. Not going to make himself that easy of a pick, but the player's also going to zigzag in front of the door. It just looks like they're trying to toy around here with IAS, just a little. Player sitting under the hatch, waiting for someone just to get aggressive here to go for a flank, maybe even drop out to go for a run out. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens here, as Meatjumper is going to stop that Yana clone, and that intel is going to be delayed just slightly.
Yeah, I mean, 1 minute on the clock. Nades are slowly starting to come out. Another kill onto the side of Thumbs. It's going to be a 4v2 situation. Jaeger gets taken out. IS with 50 seconds right now to go with. They should have plenty of time. 90 seems to be getting held aggressively, but no one actually inside. I mean, it's going to be Last Killer taking that spot back into Vault. It seems like at least close to it. He manages to almost pick off one. Playing very aggressively on Study, which isn't too bad of an idea. The nade comes out, hits him actually directly on the schnoz. Doesn't do much damage afterwards, though, as of course Ramatov still playing it pretty good on the side of 90. It's going to be Last Killer downing Fantasy, but not being able to finish the job. It's going to be, of course, the Brava getting one. And will this mute be able to do the job and clutch up? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. He gets one with the C4. Smokes are coming out. Seems like the Yana got revived. 9 seconds on the clock. Flashes are coming out. He has close quarters weapons, but it seems like the plant is going to be going down in bar. Flashes yet again coming down. Vault being held. And of course, nowhere left to run. I mean, he has not much options.
Not many options, but the players on the side of IES are on quite low HP except for the Brava. He can get the Brava down here, as the Brava is going to fall, but it's going to be a shotgun on the buck to take him down. And that's going to be all she wrote for that round, and that's going to be round number 6, if I am correct. Pretty sure we are correct. 5? It's going to take us...
8?
Yeah, 5-3.
Oh, yeah.
Epps feeding us some false information there in the comms.
Epsilon, man, you can't do that. You can't do that.
Still up, we are 1 round away from match point here, as it looks like IES might potentially be taking this serious. As, you know, the game has just slipped away from Goldinis. That's Izami, bane of the existence. Goldinis throwing rounds. Just not ideal, is it? It's just not ideal, Buff.
Yeah, I mean, you could say history's kind of repeating itself, at least with how the score is going. I mean, at least they're going with Izami. Finally, they're giving it a try, and let's see how it's going to work out going into Statuary, a.k.a. Trophy. It's going to be a bit of a different playstyle. We also love to see the Goyo and the Alibi. So we're going to see how actually IS can kind of adapt to this. I'm assuming the chat saying crash, one of the players did have a bit of a disconnect, or should be in any seconds right now, but we're just going to have to see. As, yeah, Statuary, and yeah, we could just safely assume it will be the Alibi. There comes the spawn peak or the run out. You can consider it both for the Capcan. A double leave from both. Is this a refrag from the internet service provider? Maybe, maybe not.
You know, Virgin Media coming in with that refrag, seeing as it was affecting Uncooked last week. You know, they're really just, you know, Virgin Media are biased against the side of, you know, they're biased against the side of IES here, as they're trying hard to put the refrags on the board. But that is what it is. As the players are going to get aggressive, they're on the window, not going to quite find anyone, as gets himself back into a bit of safety. Window there, though, could cause a bit of an issue. Let's just put Capcan trap down mid-round. You know, that's going to go well for us. But let's just see how this round plays out. It is a 4 versus 4, so no one is really at a disadvantage heading into this round.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Anna's going to be going in very aggressively on the side of bathroom. She gets the Azami, a very quick shot and a quick act on it. Closet not being played, and of course, the Azami getting taken out this early is not going to be a favorable situation. You have the nades, you have the Ash, so Azami barrier shouldn't be keeping up for much longer. Icox gets one with the Vector. Of course, the second one from the side of the Wamaya 2v3 situation. Will they be able to get a refrag? We're going to have to see on the side of IAS. The man advantage is on the side of Goldinis. It's not looking too bad at all, as minute 30 are ticking down. No breach is going to be, of course, getting handled. Oh, what a close shot on the side of the Captain. Goyos are going off. Icox with another kill. He gets actually taken down next second. And Joker right now in a 1v2 situation, which is looking to be honest, very possible if you ask me.
Yeah, it's quite a winnable situation. Though the HP count isn't exactly on the side of Goldinis here, as it's going to be the 1 on quite some low HP, and that cap count isn't the lowest. But all it's going to take is one clean bullet to the head, and that is the cap count taken down. But that's still, there's a bit of a crossfire being held. That 1 looking in a very, very precarious position though, as sitting kind of tight on that wall, making that Yana just kind of fight for that frag, or for the Ashes should say, fight for the frag, as it's all going to be left down to Joker, who is known to be a very frag heavy, as he is going 9-3-2, which is, quite a nice KD going into this matchup. Still, those shots are going to be coming across from the trophy side.
Oh.
There's going to be a shot to the chest, and it's going to take Joker down, and Goldinis are going to survive for at least one more round. Whether it'll be the final round or not, who knows, but we will move into round number 10, where we still haven't gone on to match point.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, at least they kind of shut down the 5-round win streak in a row for the side of IIS. A bit of unfortunate from the side of disconnecting, and ISP has a bit of a better KD ratio now, but that doesn't matter as we're heading on to round number 10. And yeah, we're going to be going dining kitchen. We always love to see the pulse. This is kind of why people do bring a lot of C4s and pulse and on the side of kitchen. It's because of verticality, which I'm surprised. Again, why didn't Goldinis go vertical? We'll never know, probably. But if they have a strategy, let them play. That didn't work out, but maybe it's going to be looking a bit more bright on the side of defense. As, yeah, Pulse, this is probably one of his better sites as well. I mean, with kind of how chucked up everything is, all the control points, upstairs, pantry, laundry, it's all kind of like, it's all very close to each other. So, taking advantage of that with the microwave in your hand that can see heartbeats, it should be very advantageous. I mean, Pulse is a very good operator, you just need to use him correct and a good time and at a good situation. I know with most other operators, but as we head into the round, let's hope we see some verticality.
Yeah, we're bringing the sledge, we're bringing the buck here. There cannot be room that we don't see. Oh, what a shot comes out there, though, from the side of the sledge. And that's going to be the cap can taken down within the first 5 or 6 seconds. But a C4 is going to be there for that refrag. And this game has just been so unpredictable on what's happening. It is crazy, to say the least. But we are definitely going to be seeing some vertical here, though, as Fantasy and the thing is Doki as well, that are just going to be there to try and gain this map positioning and get themselves already up and close into the trophy area where the vertical play can be started. But there is also that pulse on the board, which, if we do remember, a little bit of damage, just been a little bit of a whiff there, but that's going to be found in the end, and it's going to be a shot found as that pulse is going to fall, as the pulse was roaming top floor, which is quite strange. Fantasy going to take a little bit of damage here now. This is a 2 versus 2 situation. Still 2 minutes on the clock with a 2 versus 2 situation, but what are you thinking on this?
I mean, things are going way faster than they should be. Yet again, the way Goldinis are handling things, it's a bit mysterious, but if it's working out, I mean, I'm calling out the pulse upstairs. It works out. I mean, the flash is coming out. The diffuser is on the side of pantry, so this could be looking good, as Thumbs will be getting the finishing blow, making it a 5-5 score. And, kind of slapping back. Goldinis aren't doing too bad of a job. The C4 run out on master bedroom or closet from the Capcan wasn't probable. The refrag C4 came in, so 5 pounds of explosives is always what we love to see. Now, back to Aviator. We're not going to be seeing in Nazami yet again, I assume. Oh, we will. Icox bringing it out finally. Seems like Goldinis will be stepping up their game, as IAS seems to be kind of falling off.
Kind of lagging a little bit behind and letting, the side of Goldinis kind of try to pick their things back up a little. There was a major advantage, but now we've gone tied again. This is the make or break round. One team here goes to match point after this round, and that's just how it is. And then once you're on match point, the room for error is gone. You cannot make an error if you have a match point against you. So this is going to be a do or die for both these teams here, as it's going to surely IAS going to try and battle this out, whatever they have to try and get that match point secured. And Goldinis, they're just looking that they're kind of playing for fun. They're not looking, they're not playing the most serious siege that we've ever seen, and they're having a good time doing it. And they're also keeping IAS on their toes, which is what we do love to see.
Very, very accurate. Yeah, I mean, oh, there comes the spawn peak again. Goldinis really are the aggressive type of players, and it seems to be working in their favor at least somehow, but not for long. I mean, if it gets spotted, it could be a very quick and sudden pre-fire for the side of Study. We're gonna have to see in just a few seconds. A split push going all the way from Master all the way to Wolf Window, and even yeah, no, nothing happening on Study where the spawn peak was actually happening. A quick take. I mean, the Yan is already going in. The droning is being very fast. We see the extension all the way up to a statue. I mean, the head holes going all the way to closet window are going to be always in use. Icox taking minor damage, not anything too noticeable, but Master's already taken out, Statue taking out. The pace this is going at is extremely fast, and IS is taking no time for granted, as of course the zombie barriers are a bit questionable, I guess, but yeah, 90 still being held pretty strongly. The Alibi clone is there, and I think things are about to go down any second.
Yeah, things should be going down here very, very shortly. As you know, they're already getting into positions, and they've been able to take down some of that utility already. As this is what we should have seen coming out from the side of Goldinis on their attacks. We didn't. But still, as we can hear, those zombie barriers actually being replaced. That got taken down. And 90 controls already here in the position of IAS. We should see the execute coming out here very, very shortly, though, as there's still the more shields that's going to get destroyed. A zombie barrier is going to be placed down, though, and it's going to be used just to kind of slow down that line, even a slight bit. But a beautiful headshot there comes out, and that's going to be the Frost falling, as it's going to be also Icox dying as well. That's the zombie taken down, and the Sense finding their first kill. Still a 5 versus 3 situation, 1 on the clock. It's been a slower round to say, you know, in terms of fragging capabilities than we have seen before, but still, it's going to be Fancy taking a lot of damage here as he finds himself 1 in a 5 versus 2. Still 50 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, not looking too good for the side of Goldinis, even with kind of the zombie in hand. I mean, the heads are still popping off, and even speaking about that, it's going to be the Melusi getting one thumbs joining in as he gets taken out the very next second. A 3v1 onto the side of Bar. That Melusi does seem to get kind of noticed on the side of there, but the default plan behind Vault could be happening any second. Going into a Study side, this Melusi did try something new, and it was most definitely expected from the side of AIS, as of course, round number 6 is going to be round number 11 going to the IAS, and their 6th round, making them onto match 1. Now, they can win this and finish it all, or Goldinis could be taking out one more round, but it's trophy and statuary, so it's been a bit of a mix of plays throughout these so-called days, or rounds, I guess. But yeah, Azami's back in. This is all or nothing, and to be honest, I'm not going to be surprised if Goldinis manage to get a spawn peak or two.
Yeah, it's highly likely. They're an extremely aggressive team, and it has kind of paid their dividends at times. Sometimes it has led to their demise, but obviously, you know, a very 50-50. It has gone both ways for them, and honestly, I'm feeling an overtime here. I'm sensing it. I can't see this being closed out in 7-5 fashion. This is definitely going to OT.
Yeah, I mean, I can most definitely see it. I mean, IAS has been kind of off the rails. I mean, they've been doing very good. Goldinis just had a lot more of a head start, you know, kind of including the 3 first rounds they run with the rushes and extreme aggression they had, but they've been kind of keeping it up on defense as well. I mean, there were spawn peaks, run-outs, C4s, don't even get me started, as of course, right now, it also could be time-based. I mean, with a push we're seeing, I mean, it's going for a trophy, it's going for Astral Window to put on pressure and Master all at the same time. This could be a very time-based situation. Or not, because everyone's going to be going Master. Oh, well, I'm going to take that back. I thought, you know, maybe it was going to be a steady push, take out the roamers. That could waste a lot of the time, but we're not going to be going that direction, as we can also suspect it's going to be a bit more difficult for the attackers. I mean, they don't have 2 sets of nades, so the Azamis are going to be a bit more difficult to deal with, as you only have the Ash and the Sledge, but we're going to have to see.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit less utility to deal with those Azamis, but I don't think the side of Goldinis have been really using the Azami to the full potential, but as we say, that the Azami barrier is on that bed, and that is going to be just a little bit of a hindrance here, but we can use the Ace Selmas to try and take down those Azamis. It's not the best use of a Selma, to say the least, but it can be used nonetheless to try and take it down. Still a minute 50 on the clock. The round is going pretty slow. You know, they're gaining your map position. Buck is also going to flash himself, but that's something else. And it's just kind of a very stalled out round here. As you know, they're just trying to get the intel, but players are going to be stuck in positions where you cannot get them out. That Zam barricade is going to also fall. And it's just a very stalled round here, Buff.
Yeah, I mean, 1:30 on the clock. Time is definitely being wasted. Not much frags are being used, but gadgets are slowly coming out, or more say utility. The nades onto bathroom. Sledge could play a very aggressive role there on bathroom, but although Zami gets spotted, and actually she's the one who takes out someone on the master window, as Joker is going to be the one getting the first frag of the round onto Ramatov. Is going to be the mute. Sledge getting taken out at the very same second as mentioned previously. He could go for the bathroom push, but at the end it does not happen. Joker himself getting taken out. It's going to be the Frost alongside Azami getting refragged that exact same second. Sledge getting revived, but will this Jaeger have the right timing? No, he will not. A very beautiful shot, but gets down for... Is that the second time, or I think it was the ace that got downed, yeah. But
yeah,
HP not looking favorable.
Yeah, things are just kind of slipping away. I know it's a 3 versus 2 here, but a beautiful shot comes out there to finish off Fantasy, and that leaves us now in a 2 versus 2 situation. All the HP is in favor here on the side of Goldinis, as it's going to be Icox taking a lot of damage here though, but that's not going to be enough to take him down, as a shocker from behind from the Sledge is going to take down that Frost, and now we're in a 2 versus 1 situation here. It's all going to be down to Icox to try and close off these 2 final attackers. There's a beautiful headshot comes out, and it's going to be a beautiful 1v2 here from Icox, as he finds the double headshot and takes it down and brings us to overtime. And this is going the full 9 yards here, Buffer. This isn't ending anytime soon. This is where the side of Goldinis are kind of waking up a little bit here and sending us to a full OT.
Well, at least we're getting somewhere where Goldinis, they seem to be having a bit better of a performance than they did last time. And, I mean, they managed to get themselves into overtime, which... to be honest, should be expected, at least with the kind of head start they had, and it was a very good head start. I mean, props to them for kind of managing to get through with that, and it did help them out in the end, so, you know, they got themselves somewhere, but now they still need to win 2 rounds. They still need to actually be able to kind of pull out with that, and, I mean, with IAS not... to be honest, IAS is... I don't know if they're doing better on attack or defense, because, I mean, the start on defense wasn't too good. At the end, it was very good, and the attacks were kind of mixed. So, to be honest, I can't really get much of a grip on it, but most definitely, the Zami already instantly picked. I mean, it should be, as we're going to be seeing a lot more utility. And I'm saying a bit more flash utility, I'm assuming, especially with the Habana. We do see the Sledge and Diana, but no Asher Sophia just yet, which is going to be a bit surprising.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of an odd one, to say the least. But still, we've really... I don't know what to even say, because, as you mentioned, you know, it's hard to get a grip on what this game has actually been, because it looked like, you know, Goldinis had they had a very strong attack, but then their attacks fell off, and the defense came back with absolute unlimited power. And then the attacks have been very 50-50. You know, you're winning some, you're losing some. It's kind of everywhere. So honestly, putting a prediction on who's going to win this game, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, this is very close. I mean, Chalet was a different type of kind of playstyle they had, or a different type of move vibe that was getting dropped off from the playstyles these teams are bringing. But you know, besides that, it's gonna be Frost down to her last couple HP points, as it seems like a very nice shot from the side of Thumbs. There's gonna be the nades coming out. He actually was very close to spotting someone, and yes, he does. A double kill from the side of the Sledge, and a 3-5 for Goldini. So a very solid start, to say the least. They could be winning this, or maybe it could turn out for the better. I mean, right now, Fantasy's just trying to play a bit more vertical downstairs. The nade gets dropped. What a throw! Call him Kobe, as it's gonna be Azami getting kind of just punctured out of the match right now.
Yeah, 2 versus 5 situation. As I say, that comes into a 2 versus 4. Make that a 2 versus 3 flurry of kills coming in, as it's going to be a triple kill in the round. We're still saying that 1 versus 3 situation. All left here now to the Thorn of IAS to try and pull this one together, as the diffuser is going to get put hot on that ground. And this is going to be a quite difficult situation, as pretty much all the members on the side of Goldinis are full HP. Indeed, they are actually all full HP. This situation surely isn't the winnable one. It will take an absolute insane clutch. It's a beautiful headshot comes out. Takes one, finds a second in a triple kill round to try to make this a 4K, as he's looking to find the final member on the side of Goldinis, as it's one Hibana standing in the way, as Hibana finds the final frag, and round 13 slips directly out of the hands of IAS, and Goldinis are looking to take this map to bring us to the full map series.
That was scary. I mean, you could even see the bullet trace on Hibana's POV kind of getting really close to her head. So that Thorn, she was kind of really close to that, and very even closer to greatness right there, as that clutch could have almost come to an end in a mere second. I mean, the double kill was off the charts, as sadly the Hibana was able to protect the diffuser and her own self from the Thorn and managed to win a round for Goldinis. Now it's IS on the side of attack, and well, we're going to be going to kitchen side, which from what we've seen was not too bad. I mean, Goldinis definitely performed well here. They got the diffuser and pantry, as it was a 2v2 last time, and then able to finish it off nicely just on the side of Buck, who was just throwing flashes from the side of Laundry, I do believe it was. But hey, if they can repeat it again, they should be looking at a nice W for them. But we could be expecting also adaptivity. We see the ace, which is going to be interesting. I'm assuming there's going to be rotation cutoff on the side of Pantry Wall, and an IQ and Nomad pick, which is going to be interesting. They did kind of remember the post pick that was used, the Kapkan, the Malusi, the Kate, all that type of stuff. That's where IQ comes in useful. You know, you got to know what gadget there is, and if you don't necessarily want to use your drones to kind of, you know, to waste on operator detecting, IQ definitely can do the job, and especially for Pulse. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, Pulse providing so much information here, though, to the defenders. You know, you're not safe when there's a Pulse on the board. You know, as you mentioned, that microwave is there just to give your location away completely. And it's just, you know, 2 minutes 30 on the round. We're not seeing any very fast-paced rounds like we have been seeing up to now. And things, you know, both teams have looked like they've just dialed down the pace, dialed down that speed, and they're just trying to, you know, play this a little bit more strategically. It's not, you know, the most strategic at all possible, but they're definitely looking like, you know, slow things down. Let's get our heads back into the game and let's get some concentration out here. Still though, you know, air jab's going to be deployed. The vertical play is going to be made full advantage of here, and nobody is going to lose their life yet. No one's taking damage. Things are just, you know, time is taken by 2 minutes. There's about 45 seconds gone off the clock. Triple Kapkan on the door, though. That's going to be definitely made aware of, as the sledge, or actually of the smoke, I should say, is going to get down in sight. And surely he can be rezzed without much of an issue there, as some vertical play is going to take a lot of damage off thumbs. And still, it's just kind of a back and forth here. There's not a whole lot happening. It feels like a lot, but there just doesn't seem to be much.
Yeah, I mean, 1:30 on the clock. It seems like the HP is ticking down for the side of Cade and Smoke. The IQ is mostly definitely trying to keep the pulse in check, at least for now. Also trying to, you know, just take out Gadget as she's going along with the verticality, with the sledge. Not many C4s are to be spotted, and none. Actually, one more is left on the side of Kapkan, but besides that, I mean, they've got one C4 remaining, and they should use it wisely. I mean, they used the Cage, they used the Pulse as one, but actually didn't even manage to scratch any of the enemies. And yeah, there comes actually not Pantry Wall, it's going to be Laundry Wall getting taken out. Ace going for a full-on breach. Yeah, Lion slowly taking damage, but Joker returning the fire onto Ramatov. Thumbs getting taken out by the same IQ. It's going to be a double kill 5v3 situation. Verticality still in action and very well. So yeah, with the 35 seconds that are remaining, this is seeming to go one-sided very quickly.
This seems to go one-sided very quickly, but with that low amount of time on the clock, this can go very badly, as a team kill is going to be coming out, and another shot is going to come here. It's a 4 versus 2 situation here, but the smoke blades are being thrown. That line is also on a low amount of HP here, and it's all to play for here, though. That diffuser should be going down, as it was going to go down, but it doesn't get stuck. No, Matt is going to find one, and it's all going to be left into the hands of the Kapkan here to try and find the four members, but he's going to get stripped down by the IQ. And this matchup is going the full 9 rounds. This is going the full, you know, we're taking this the full way. Who's going to take it?
It's all or nothing, man. I mean, this is very close. Goldinis have been performing pretty decently on attack, although there have been questionable decisions. I'm not gonna point any of them out because, uh, I mean, besides the verticality and stuff, they've been doing pretty okay. I mean, like I said, comparing to the Chalet match, this is completely fine. They're playing extremely well, and yeah, with the 7-7 score, you know, the 7-7 score, it's very close. But IAS are not going to be backing down. This loadout is very interesting. We're going back to the traps. We saw that the traps have been very efficient. I mean, the Lion with the Thorn don't seem to be working too well together. What is happening with this hatch? Hello? But yeah, the Frost, the Thorn, the Capcan, and then just along with Azami, kind of a deadly combination, and of course Kate to finish it off just because you don't want to get walls and rotations cut off too quickly. So there is one deadly aspect though, you know, traps are gadgets. Now what does Fuse do? He destroys gadgets from below. Now we're gonna have to be taking that into account very quickly, as Fuse could be ruining their pretty much entire plan. Verticality is there. We see the Thorn placing down the shield onto the side of the Master. There's an IQ, there's a Lion, there's a Yana, there's a whole lineup, even an Ace, just to make sure. But verticality is definitely one of the options with Fuse. Although we don't have a Sledge or a Buck, so we're gonna have to see how this works out.
Yeah, definitely not having the Sledge or the Buck is going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage. Yes, you're bringing a little bit of recharges. You have 3 on the Fuse, you have 3 on the IQ, but still, it's not that's just not enough for verticality. You know, you're bringing the Fuse as well. But one thing I would like to point out though, this is Goldinis' map pick. Goldinis have picked this map, and it's definitely looking a lot stronger than the IAS game. But still, this is, you know, Goldinis' map pick, and you're letting, you know, it go to 7-7. It's not ideal. You know, you're bringing it a lot closer than you were letting Chalet, to be granted. But still, you know, I was kind of expecting a little more, seeing as they did pick this map. But in saying that, though, we're not seeing any little pucks coming through the ceiling yet. The vertical play hasn't even started. And it's just a very, very slow enough round here, as Joker is just going to be a thorn in the side here, as he's just going to be, you know, chilling. Just going to be putting a little bit of pressure. And things are just going a little bit slow. They're getting the intel, and they're just making the way through the map. Not really contested as of much yet.
Yeah, I mean, with the amount of vertical pressure there is from the defenders, and also kind of the time limit going down very quickly, there's even a question if Fuse will be able to kind of play vertical hockey right now at this point. No frags have been pointed out just yet. 1 minute 20 on the clock. It's ticking down. You got to take this account very like treasure, you know. You got to really respect it. You got to do it efficiently or not. But there goes Fuse, thinking he's playing hockey with the amount of pucks he has in his hand. And yes, they are going to be efficient. The Zamis are going to get taken out. The gadgets, the shield. This is the setup, the Shore, the Fuse, you know. I kind of like the way Siege kind of buffs and nerfs operators in the way that people who are not in the meta get put in the meta. Fuse, Frost, yada yada yada. As it's going to be 1 kill onto the side of the Ace, a bit of a refrag, and 2 onto the side of IAS, as it's a 3v4 situation. Gets another team kill on IAS, and Goldinis winning their first match out of the 3 that are in store. A good half from both of the teams, and oh, we're going on to match number 3. This is going to be something.
These games are just keeping us on our toes. They're not giving us. They're just everywhere. You know, they're just games that keep us on the edge of our seat. You know, it's just map one map apiece. Gold actually winning their map. So Clubhouse, we are heading to next.
Yes.
And what's your take on Clubhouse here? Because
I like
this is
very cool.
We love Clubhouse here. I am also a Clubhouse enjoyer, so this should be a very interesting one to see. But Clubhouse, this I don't think favors Goldinis. If I'm being honest, I don't think Goldinis are going to be in the the most enviable position, as it doesn't favor how they've been playing on these last 2 maps. So what would be your hot take on that one?
Probably, yeah, I kind of agree. Besides, I mean, the only map they barely won on, they were on a match point, and it was kind of also a team kill from the side of IAS, but I mean, Goldinis haven't been doing too well, and they kind of got demolished on the side of Chalet, which wasn't their map pick, so this is going to be questionable.
It's definitely going to be questionable, and it's going to be a very close map. And It could be. I don't think it's going to be as close as what we saw Villa just went to 8-7 in favour of gold. But I'm going to have to stick with my boys at IAS here, and I'm going to have to back them all the way to take this a 2-1 on a map score of 7-5.
Yeah. But before we get into that, let's take a bit. Yeah. Before we do head into that, we should be taking a bit of a break, and we'll see you then.
Where is it written that all our dreams must be small? Where is it written that all our dreams must be small? Where is it written that all our dreams must be small?
Hello, welcome back, and finally, after two excruciatingly English, two very bad experiences of maps. Just kidding. It was very interesting to go through. We're going to be heading over to Clubhouse now. When both of the teams are ready, we should be getting head started in. But yeah, very well played from the side of IAS on the first map. Goldinis were doing their best and actually managed to get the W on the second one, although IAS was still looking like they had moments of their upper hand. But before we head into the clubhouse, we are still here with the same old, same old. Arya, hello.
Hello, I'm still here. We're getting ready, just ample waiting to get in the clubhouse. As we say that, I hear the noise of the match just starting in the background. So, buffer, it looks like we're ready to go as we head onto the beautiful map of Clubhouse, and we get into our third and final map where we see who goes ahead and who goes home. This is going to be—it's an important map here now for both these teams. And what's your predictions? I gave my predictions before we hopped onto the break. What's your kind of predictions here for this as we head in?
To be honest, I don't know how to give predictions in this situation. I mean, okay, IAS has definitely been overperforming Goldinis in most of these situations, but even the Goldinis haven't been putting up too bad of a fight. So to be honest, I'm just gonna go for Goldinis. I'll go for the underdogs in this current situation because why not? It might as well. You're going for IAS. I'll go for Goldinis. Let's see who comes out on top. But let's actually head to the bets. It's gonna be Monty and Thatcher, quite common on a map like Clubhouse, which is very dependent off of main breach. CC and Cash, of course, Gym and Bedroom. Those are both sites that are very connected to the main breach that you do want to get rid of, that you do want to open. There's a lot of rotation to cut off, even a whole site at times. So Thatcher making that very easy, getting him out is very nice. But IS starting an attack, they also want to get rid of the Cade. If there's a Thatcher, there's got to be Cade. If there's no Cade, there's no Thatcher. That's kind of the rule.
There's our Azami ban. The Azami ban that looks like we needed that the whole of last map on Villa has finally seen surface, and that Azami is not going to be an issue this map anyway. As the Azami on the rafters can be an absolute pain. It's not ideal, it's unless you're bringing a lot of utility to try and flush that out, or you want to go completely the opposite direction. You push from your construction side inwards into CCT or into cash. It's pretty much the only way you're going to avoid the Azami, but there's still going to be Azami barriers placed on green box, and it's just not going to be a fun time for you to try and deal with those. So taking the Azami off the board, I'm surprised it's a ban we didn't see a little bit earlier, to be honest. I kind of thought, we'd see it a little bit sooner, but nonetheless, we are seeing the Azami being pulled out into the map bans, or into the operator bans, I should say. And as we say that, we're going to get into our first round here down in basement. The basement, the tried and tested bomb site. So that's not an unusual one to see being played here, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm seeing some new faces around here, especially the Solus and kind of the castle being brought out, along with the Goyo Smoke. This seems like it's going to be a very Turtle-y kind of hold, I would assume. I mean, Solus, that's out of the question. Of course, she's going to be doing her job as a roamer, but besides that, I mean, Smoke definitely on side. I could assume Cap can go to do the same, and Castle just to join along, but we're going to have to see. I mean, you don't want to give up ground on this map too quickly, especially on the verticality side. Oh my goodness, what a shot. Solus didn't know it was coming to her, and well, a very nice pre-fire on the CC wall as you're getting the first frag in the first 30 seconds. What can you do about it?
What an absolute beautiful frag it was as well, and especially taking the Solus down. What an operator to take down in your first, 30 seconds on the first opening pick. It's definitely an operator that can have an absolute detriment to the attacking side if she is left alive long enough. But as we say that though, that's going to be another frag here, as it's going to be the Boris finding one of his own. And that's going to find the Capcan as well. So that's going to bring us to a 5 versus 3 situation. There's castle barricades here to slow things down, but nades are going to be there just to pop those open. And the attackers are just going to walk on through, as they're not really being contested, as the Capcan traps, though, are going to be there, and they are going to cause a bit of an issue, as the vertical breaches are going to get opened out just a little bit of fantasy. And there is no sledge on the board, actually, either. So it looks like they're just bringing the book for the solo verticals. And that's all that's going to be happening here. Still a 4 versus 3 situation, though. Still plenty, ample amount of time on the clock, as those vertical holes are now just getting stripped through those floorboards. and we should definitely see maybe a potential frag coming out here as the kind of players from Goldinis are looking to try and contest them just a little, but they're not looking to get too aggressive to lose their lives as of now.
Yeah, with no Kate, you can't really protect the hatches, so that's going to be out of the question. I mean, we're going to have bar hatch, we're going to have kitchen hatch. The amount of pressure from just above alone, with the Solus and Capcan being gone, is going to be immaculate. I mean, you even see Dirt getting pushed. I mean, what do you have right now? The availability as the defender, you can go in blue. That's most definitely an option. You can play in the back of Armory towards the dirt door, and of course Church is left over, but it's not going to be much of a chance. Castle gets taken out. It's going to be Icocked. Seems like the Goyo's not looking too good on HP. The frag gets dropped. It's Thumbs alone in a 3v1 situation. 40 seconds on the clock, and he's going to be getting taken out by Fantasy. Just to finish off round number 1 quickly and smoothly from above.
Yeah, that was, a very swift round. Very nice open frag. And the vertical holes were just cheese, just cheese holes in the floor. Just giving them the lines of sight that they needed. And it was just a flawless round essentially coming out from the side of IAS. Well executed, well planned, and just overall, just nice round in general from them. And the side of Goldinis didn't exactly have a return answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, verticality came into play as it should. There's not kind of a better way to take it out, especially with the roamers gone, but we're going back downstairs and we're going to be seeing, one of the operators that doesn't get picked when it should. It's going to be the Mirror, the PTSD to my personal experience, as of course, it's going to be the Vector, along with the kind of the black mirrors, windows, the one-sided window, as you'd call it. And yeah, Valkyrie in hand, especially being very well used upstairs in kitchen. We could be seeing some pre-play C4s. I mean, we do have 3 on the side of defense, so it wouldn't be too much of a surprise. Even if they go for verticality, they should be expecting a bit of explosives from beneath their feet, as the defense isn't changing much. We do also see a Flores for assuming to be there a castle, but also could be, I guess, a bit more towards the mirror. The Nook is going to be an interesting pick, like I said. Nook is very deadly, very sneaky, and at times even unexpected. A lot of nades for that, kind of a replacement for Sledge in this situation. You do have still a buck for verticality, and you could even call it Flores could be used for that. I guess, yeah, I can see it happening most definitely.
It could happen. Is it a waste of a Flores or Terra drone?
Maybe.
Just about, maybe a little. But still, in a pinch, you need to get, that little bit of a vertical open. You can do that. It will work. But still, it's not ideal, but
it's a hole.
It's a hole. It's not a rotate, but it's a hole to say the least. As I say, that beautiful shot from the SMG comes out. We don't get to see that, but the Joker's going to find one, and that's going to be the entry frag for Thumbs, as that's what the side of Goldinis need here. For the last pretty much 2 games, the entry frags just haven't been in their favor. Now they're getting the entry frags in, and it looks like that might slow them down a little, as that is going to be the Iona falling. That's a set of nades also taken off the board. Not an ideal situation to be left in here if you're the side of IAS, but you still have the Nook that also has the frag grenades available. So you still have some sort of utility to use, but you are at a great reduced rate now.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, 145 on the clock. Not much roam presence seems to be spotted, as of course, 3rd floor gets taken out. Not taken out, kind of just cleared out. And it seems like there's going to be a lot more verticality now in play. We still have all 3 of the C4s in hand, so we could be seeing some getting dropped. We see Goyo holding one currently. Could be followed by Mira and Valkyrie, who knows? But most definitely the man advantage is on the side of Goldinis, and IIS are spending a bit too much time. There comes the C4, and yeah, the clock is ticking right now. You need to do it a bit faster than currently. I mean, the previous round went a lot more swiftly, a lot more smoothly, as you'd call it. The frag started dropping quickly, but with the C4s, with the mirror, with the distraction you have from below, with the amount of danger you're kind of entering just as an attacker, it is most definitely mentionable. As we speak of that danger, it's going to be Vector getting pulled out. It's going to be a kill onto the side of Fantasy, and another kill dropped onto Goldini. So a 1-0, another one from the side of Icox. He gets one. Does he get the second? Doesn't seem like just yet, as 35 seconds are on the clock, and it's a 2v4 situation.
Now turning into a 1v4 situation here, is all going down here to the Hibana to try and pull out these 4 frags. Still 25 seconds on the clock, pretty much. and this is not an ideal situation. Finds one though, hits the headshot, and that's going to put a little bit of
Oh.
consolation for here. Drops into the fire, and that's going to be the final of the demise. And that is just the round falling away, and it just looked like Goldinis were so scared of all the C4s that was in the potentials, and it just slipped away. They just didn't really, they just kind of stalled out, weren't really able.
Some people take the quote or the lyric "through the fire and the flames" a bit too literally, especially the Habana at the end right there. But if she thought it would work, well, it most definitely didn't, since it does do a lot of damage. But yeah, going over to CC and Cash, we're going to be seeing the bandits, so we could be seeing bandit tricks. You know what I haven't seen in a while? What was back in the day, the counter to bandit tricking, if I'm correct, was drone hole Zofia on top red, so they would stun the bandit so he couldn't trick. I haven't seen that in a while. I do want to see it brought back. Or maybe just an Ash from below, a nade from below, something to stop the bandit. These back DMPs, man, they're ruining the old times, that's all I'm going to say. But yeah, we could be seeing anything. Garage being protected, just so the player on Rafter doesn't get necessarily kind of pushed from below. They can definitely breach. That's definitely an option, but you never know. Right now, it's kind of just down for a battle of main breach. They can still hold very good angles from Cash, from Rafters, from wherever, but it's really a battle for breach right now, I would say.
100%. You're going to have to try and get this main breach. Whether the breach, it's going to be a main breach push, or we could actually potentially see the construction push, which would be a very nice push to say the least. Especially with the kind of operators you're bringing out. You're bringing the Ace as well and Habana. You could definitely go for kind of even a bit of a split push, where you could go, half construction, we go half D-side of main breach. But it looks like we're going to see the top right corner of the garage wall being opened up, just to kind of put that little bit of pressure onto the Rafters players, which is going to be the dock. There's no zombie there to give him a little bit of protection, but there is going to be surely some ADSs of some description, which will actually be the magnets, as Jaeger is not being blinked. And the Nook is just going to be lurking through the basement here, just not going to be quite, showing the position, as just kind of lurking around, making the presence, just gaining this map control. And what we could potentially see here is the Nook kind of sneaking through the construction area and being able to kind of pick off one or two potentially, while the rest go for main breach and provide that distraction.
Yeah, with the main breach, you'd kind of want to prefer to go for a bigger breach so you can walk through it, so you can get easy access to main plans. But without that, it's still fine. You still cut off a lot of rotations. And the one thing that also got cut off was Icox on his way to main stairs by the sneaky Nook, and this is why also she is one of the stronger operators, along with nades. And this kind of gadget to just be wherever you're not supposed to, it works out, and it got the first frag for the side of IAS. A 5v4, it's going to be pushing red stairs, I'm assuming, or maybe nades from below. Who knows? Not me, as 120 is on the clock. Time hasn't been wasted too badly, but Ramatov will be getting a pick onto the side of Ace. He gets one, making it kind of equal. The nades are going to be coming out any second. Very close to the defending Frost, but not close enough. Yet again, these nades are coming in close. Close and hot, but not close enough. Oh, a shot from Construction. A bit of a whiff from the side of Nook, and a good shot for Thumbs.
Yeah, Thumbs has just been one of those players, say, who's just hitting those shots and just making those bullets count. As we say that, Joker's also going to fall, and now we're in again another 1 versus 4 situation. That is just the style of this map, or of these games today. It's just been 1v4s and just multiple 1vx's. As we say that, though, headshot's going to be gained here, as it's all going to be down to the player. As that one might is going to take a little bit of damage, but he's just refusing to die on those rafters. As a pistol in hand, looking to go for that juicy one tap. Will that be happening here, as the Habana has the crosshairs trailed on to the head, and it's just a bit of ring around it, Rosie, here, as these impacts are going to be flying out. Can a Pokemon be gained? Cannot be gained in a 1 versus 2 situation here. This Habana is on a low amount of HP, 15 seconds on the clock, and this is not a lot of time to work with here, as the dock from below, actually the Rook, we should say, is able to find the final frag and put the second round on the board for the side of Goldinis.
Very nice shot to finish it off right there from Thumbs. A very aggressive playstyle, but it worked out nonetheless. And of course, hey, if he gets frags because of it, who would complain? I mean, most definitely the dual French brothers on the side of defense are always a good combo to stick with. So, Goldini's not looking too bad. I mean, a 2-1 for them. IAS. Yes, there we go. Took a second. AIS looking a bit worse than they were for the previous rounds, but if Goldinis can pull this off a bit faster than they did earlier and kind of keep up the amount or the flow, the continuation of how they won rounds, at least earlier in the starting point, it should be looking like a lot more favorable for the defense on the side of Goldinis. And we're heading over to the side of, yeah, German Master Bedroom, where, yet again, main breach isn't as necessary as with, of course, CC and Cash, but still a probable thing to go with. But most people just kind of push from behind. They go Cash, they take out Cash, go for Construction and Logi, and just kind of take it on from there.
Yeah, 100%. Honestly, doing the kind of takes are honestly, I think, a little bit stronger. But whether we will see that or not happen is very much a toss-up, as this, IAS so strong on Chalet, looked absolutely insane. They were unstoppable essentially. They kind of had a little bit a hint of that back in the map of Villa, but it just seems like the stamina and just going through a full BO3 has just really worn them down. They don't seem to be able to, they don't have the full firepower. As we say, that spawn piece is going to come out, and that's going to be the sledge from IAS falling. That's going to be a set of nades taken out board, as we've mentioned many times. And and the side, I don't think they're just able for the aggression that the side Goldinis are bringing.
Yeah, I mean, there comes kind of the push on seizing Cash you want to do on the defensive side. I mean, Goldinis right now back at the man advantage. It's looking like quite a good early game for them, just like previously. And if they can keep it up, I mean, they could be the winners, and IAS definitely need to kind of get back to the way they were on Chalet, adaptivity, the gameplay, all sorts of stuff like that. The mirror is going to be a hindrance, most definitely, especially on the way to Logi. That's going to be one of the main things you do want to get out of your way. I would focus maybe on Logi Hatch, trying to flush her out with nades, some sort of utility, especially floor zones, as it's being used right now. The mute is going to be a bit of a difficult one to deal with, as Jaeger gets shot. It's a 4v4 situation. The breaches are coming out, and there's going to be, it's not necessarily main breach, but it will do, at least for now. 1 minute and 20 on the clock, and I mean, this round doesn't seem to be going anywhere so far.
Yeah, it's just kind of stalled out. The sledge was spawn peaked, and then there was kind of a refrag gained. And we could potentially see another frag here as the Ace is just trailing the crosshairs, potentially onto an unexpected enemy. That's not going to be the case. That mirror is going to get popped open. C4 is going to get swung, not going to fall, as Thumbs, again, hitting those shots, and he just takes down another one. And that's going to be your floor is taken down before any utility can be used. Ace going to put down onto 50 HP. And things are just not looking good for IAS. As we say that, though, beautiful nade's going to swing through and take down the mirror. And that's going to be Cox going to fall. And it's just kind of a waiting game here now, as it's just kind of a little bit of a refrag back and forth. And Thumbs once again going absolutely huge. That SMG11 taking no hostages whatsoever, as it's now a 2 versus 2 situation. Still 25 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, right now Joker and Vanity kind of need to play this through, as angles are being held everywhere. I mean, there's definitely some sort of intel where the Buck and, of course, the Yana are. Buck gets taken out. Now it's a 1v2 situation. The pistols get pulled out, and it's a battle all on one. It's a 2v1, and, of course, it's going to be the Yana, the one that drops the pistol. Well, both the Yana and the Rooney kind of at the same time pulled out the pistol. Of course, it was also the Mew with the secondary, so, I mean, it was an interesting battle, but Goldinis will be back at a similar score they had earlier. Now it is going to be a 3-1. Now, Goldinis, they could just keep this up. I mean, they've been doing pretty well with the strategy, with the time waste. The time waste they've had is very kind of impactful, and they've been doing it well. If they can keep this up, and I think they should be good to go. I mean, our timeouts are available, which is, I'm a bit surprised that they aren't being used in T4 as much as they should be. Most definitely because this is kind of, even if you don't want to talk about anything or use it to go through anything, a timeout can also be used to kind of stop the momentum the opposing team has on rounds. Let's say when they win 2 rounds in a row, you can stop that type of momentum or rush surge they have with just a bit of a timeout. You kind of, or you can regroup yourself from preventing to keep that surge going. So timeouts can be used in many different ways. I would just prefer people actually using them, as much as talking for 1 extra minute as a caster about blank operators and just a timer ticking down isn't preferable. It's still a valid thing you want to use. It's still available up to you. So yeah, but Again, Goldinis with aggression. You know, you always love to see it, and if it works, which it has been up until now, props to them.
It looks like, Goldinis had a lot of issues with their aggression from map number one. They were bringing out the aggression, but as I mentioned before, it was all kind of solo aggression. It wasn't a group of, they weren't kind of playing on with each other. They weren't kind of grouped up. But
Yeah.
now, as we moved into Villa, they looked a lot more, kind of in one unit. They were unified in one. As the map went on, kind of slipped away a little. But from round 1, 2, and even three not as much, but 1 and 2 where they were getting those rushes in, and they were pretty much glued to each other the entire time, which ultimately, just their aggression and kind of sticking up with each other, it just worked out super well. And it just kind of seems like they're carrying that across. They're not letting that fall. And IAS are just not able for the unit that is the side of Goldinis.
Yeah, sometimes people underestimate the power of a warden. Here, you should most definitely bring him in at times. This is why people bring warden, and it's gonna be the Ying. The Ying right now could actually be a bit of a tight turner, to say the least, as Ramatov is going to be getting one onto fantasy. It's going to be the buck, no more verticality, at least not much. The impacts are also coming in, an interesting way to kind of try and prevent or impact trick the hatches from being opened. They got one of the Hibana sets, but don't seem to have any more impacts left. A C4 is still on hand, so there could be a bit of frag from there. A questionable Hibana. Oh yeah, they were using 2 Hibanas to try and bait out all of the impacts left. They used to, and now the hatch should be opened. And yeah, I mean, that hatch is open. Verticality isn't going to be getting expended anymore. And speak of the devil, it's going to be the C4 getting plunked out. And with 1 minute on the clock, seems like Goldinis are looking very solid.
Yeah, 2 versus 5 situation here, though, as the pistol is going to find one off the Joker. As I say, that little bit of damage onto Icox, but not quite enough, as a headshot is going to be found, and that's going to be a beautiful shot to take down another member on the side of Goldinis. But things are looking dire. 2 versus 4 situation with 40 seconds on the clock, and all you've got is a few candelas, and the Ying is going to fall. All left down here now to the Dokkaebi in this 1 versus 2. Will she drop into the pit of fire like we did see before? That doesn't seem to be the case, as it's a rotate across to what is the little bit of vertical that is being used there. Fuser now in hand, but it's all sure it was a beautiful headshot. Again, a second shot comes out from the Dokkaebi, finding another member on the round, getting herself a consolation frag here, but it's going to be the last member of players. And another shot comes out in a 1 versus 2. Managed to find 3, but that's not quite enough to win the round here, as an SMG 11 from Thomas is going to shut you down. And that's going to be the side of Goldinis taking yet another comfortable round.
Yeah, this is most definitely better, and I'm hoping they heard me, because they've definitely delivered. They've been keeping up. They won another round, and they could be going to a 5-1 before the role swap. Defense is a bit more preferred, you could say, on the side of Clubhouse, but yet again, Clubhouse has been in the kind of competitive rotation cycle for so long that attacking, you can't really say it's all because you're attacking. It's you can't really attack wrong. Everyone knows how to attack, and it should be kind of more, for Clubhouse, it should be the basic of basics. So yeah, although defense is still a bit easier, attackers don't have it that rough. Now, what we're going to be seeing here is also another interesting operator. We always love to mention these. It's going to be the OSA getting brought out. The Croatian shield holder. A very interesting pick, most definitely with the EMPs, and kind of, if you manage to, get a full breach, she is very useful. You plonk that shield outside of main breach, and you're pretty much safe to just hold whatever you need to, maybe get a frag or 2. Even if the shield does get blown up, you still kind of can back off. If they peek you, you can still shoot back. It's just an all-out good gadget. I would definitely place her in one of the top operators, and with EMPs, a decent gun, and a shield. Just lovely to have.
And with quite a few counters as well. She doesn't have that many counters whatsoever. Yes, your explosives is probably the biggest counter that OSA has. Other than that, there's no real hard counter to OSA on defense. So
Yeah.
she is quite the power operator, and honestly, in a position where she's not banned, not bringing in OSA is quite a confusing position, because, as you mentioned, she has an amazing set of guns, EMPs, and that shield, which can bring so much into the team. It's, she's just an operator that you can pretty much bring on any site and it works. There's no real bad site for an OSA, but did we just see something we haven't seen since either 3 or 4? The Zofia charges through drone hole. As you mentioned, I'm pretty sure we just saw that. which is something we have not seen in quite some while, Prophet. We have not seen it.
You
We
love
do.
to see it.
We do love to see some Year 4 Siege being brought out, bringing back some of the OG strats. And
Oh,
the old but gold strats work, as they are some of the best. They do the job. But as we say that, though, it's going to be Icox taking down one, that MP7. He doesn't need He doesn't need the SMG11. He doesn't need the MP5. He can just slam with the MP7. He can slam with any gun. He is just doing bits in this matchup here today. As an impact is going to take out that also shield, and that's going to be fantasy. Just kind of being left in a little bit of an open position here, as it's now a 4 versus 4 situation. Make that a 4 versus 3, as the dock is also going to fall here, and some shots are going to be returned back and forth, though, as the OSA is going to fall into a DBNL state. Potentially might be able to be in a residual position if the OSA maybe is in residual. Observer, can we see if the OSA is residual?
oh.
It's a Frostmat on the top of rafters, actually, as they're going to get their advancement through now in a 4 versus 3 situation. On the clock, and a lot left here to do, as they don't really they have got the full rafters control. That's pretty much all they have.
Yeah, I mean, the main plant is also kind of secureable. There's no pre-play C4s, nothing on that type of sort, so they can kind of just walk in, go in, double kill from the side of the Hibana. Breach does seem to be taken out. Joker gets another Frostman delivered onto the side of IAS, and I mean, this Frost seems to be dominating, not only with her traps, but even a clutchable situation. Not anymore. I mean, the operators are outside. Zofia actually pushing her in cash. Very getting her pretty low. Gets taken out. It's a 2v1 situation. It's going to be placed from below, and this Frost is going to be having a very tough time. 25 seconds on the clock. She doesn't have much time to defuse. And this also, she can kind of hold steady. She has the line of sight onto the diffuser. There's one below. She doesn't even need to peek. She can do it out of kind of, I guess, just wanting to get frags, being a bit cheeky, but that's as far as it goes. Yeah, this Frost is not going to be doing much, as Goldinis will be securing themselves 4-2. A roll swap, which is not bad at all.
It's not bad at all, and Goldini's looking, they're looking on fire at the moment. They kind of took the momentum out of the side of IAS, and they're kind of running away with this a little bit. They're not, they're not letting they're not letting IAS show the full dominance that we saw in map 1.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, going on to round number 7, it seems like IAS is going to be having a chance to go over to the side of defense, as we're going to be starting off on Church. We see a nice little neat goat man, Oryx, being brought into the roster along with Smoke. So, bring that up with some Valkyrie for C4s and Capcan along with it. Solus as well, just to kind of have that type of, like, I guess, utility knowledge, because this could also come in handy. Let's say you have pre-play C4s, she spots some sort of Ibanas being placed down, some sort of gadget being used, and the operator is near it. That could be quite a deadly strat. The Capcan triple stacking on blue door. It's going to be an interesting sight we have there. Maybe it could work, maybe not. But yeah, right now Capital Lion, Ashiana, Hibana on the side of attack. Pretty basic, pretty, standard as you should. Can't go wrong with this build. I mean, Capital, yet again, a very underestimated or underused operator, to say at least. Lion and Ash always love to be seen. Same goes with Yana and, of course, Hibana for hatches, because can't really go wrong with it. I did spot something that I do like that people don't do oftenly. It's kind of a backup. If the Hibana does die, Capital still has hard breaches, and that's what I like. It could even be Buck with hard breaches, Ying, Fuse. Someone to kind of back up in the case of emergency of the Hibana dying, or vice versa, the Hibana backing that operator up, which is what you always love to see.
Yeah, it's always nice to see some of the the tin openers being brought out to open those hatches just in case, because as we have seen, Goldinis are a very aggressive team. So a spawn peek onto a hard breacher wouldn't be the most unpredictable thing to see in this matchup, to say the least. So once you have your Capita with your little tin openers, those hatches can still be opened, and as well with the Cade being taken off the board, there's nothing really stopping you from getting hatches apart from the impact tricks. But then again, an impact trick is quite difficult to do on the little can openers, so it can be quite difficult if you don't hit the right place with the right impact. But that is just something that would be there just in case. As now they're going to be aware of some of that positioning, that hatch. No, I think it got opened. Actually, no, it's been shot from above. Solus is above, and she is shooting down on top of those pellets. And so that hatch won't be open as of yet, I don't think, as it looks like the Solus is just going to be preventing, as the impact tricks are going to swing up, and it's also going to slow down that hatch opening. Also, just a little bit, the side of IAS just wanting to cling onto that hatch like it is for dear life,
Oh,
and a little bit of a swing around. That's going to be the Ash taken down, and that's going to be the first open frag here on the board for the side of IAS, and they're looking a little bit stronger now as we move into round number 7. And the round swap looks like what they needed here. And that's just what the side of IES called for here. As second frag going to be gained here on the board, though, as the Valk is going to find one. And it's now into a 5 versus 3. Still a minute on the clock, 5 versus 2 as we say that. And this round is just slipping away here from the side of Goldinis.
yeah, it's a 5v2 situation right now. Goldini's looking quite tight. I mean, the dirt push could actually come in very unsuspected. Diana, I don't think there's much intel on her. Doesn't matter though, Joker's going to be dropping one. And just to finish it off, the SMG-11, a very nice shot and a flawless for the side of IAS. So, you know, making it back, it seems like it's a 4-3 score. So Goldini's had the upper hand for a second, and now they seem to be letting it go again. This is now what we want to see. I'm still expecting some sort of timeout any second right now. But going on to gym and bedroom, yeah, CC and Cash isn't being picked anymore due to the fact that breaching is a lot more easier, especially with EMP impacts, Flores drones, all that type of stuff. And, you know, that kind of along with the site being dependent off of main breach, you don't want to pick it anymore. So gym is a lot more favorable. But I'm surprised we're not seeing any castles here, especially because Windows aren't necessarily played as much anymore, but they can still be put as an exception. I mean, Castle is always useful to have it, and he's kind of, just like Frost and Chalet, this is the side where Castle got kind of highlighted.
Yeah, 100%. You know, Castle can provide so much to this site, especially if you barricade off that door onto the main breach, the hot tub breach. You can really stop the attackers from either getting, you know, nades through the window straight into, if you have a bandit tricking, especially if there's a bandit trick in there, it can make that quite difficult, and you know, it just even cuts off the line of sight. So we're going to see definitely a bit of an extended hold here coming out from the side of IAS, which I don't think anyone is surprised with. That's just your basic, you know, for holding here, you want to extend out to make it as difficult as possible on the attackers. And it just seems, you know, we're going to see IAS kind of stick with, you know, not a default setup, but they're just looking to, you know, they're not bringing out anything new. Everything is, you know, let's play things basic. Let's play things like, you know, how just the basic strats. We're not going to show anything new. And that hopefully work for them. We'll just have to wait and see, though, as, you know, just round, you know, things are going quite slow. The aggression has been kind of tamed down, but these mute jammers are going to be causing a little bit of an issue here, though.
Yeah, you know, to be honest, I'm not surprised. Actually, I am quite surprised not seeing the ace kind of throw his bread loaves at the top of the breach, because that can counter a mute, you know. The mute doesn't go to the top of the wall completely, so breaching from the top can actually make some sort of hole that you can then rappel up to and shoot down the mute, and even play off of the rappel itself. So, you know, that could be a viable thing to go off of. Seems like Sledge is going to be playing a lot more sneaky, but does end up revealing himself on the side of CC and Cash. Now, that could have been useful if he could have, you know, kind of dug deeper, at least for now. The shield isn't being played as for now. Jim does get not necessarily spotted, but will there be a run out? No, not just yet. I mean, 1:30 on the clock, Sledge exposing yourself isn't the greatest, but Cash isn't even being, to be honest, held. I mean, there's people in Logi and people close to construction, but that's about as far as it goes. I mean, no one's directly in Cash, just as now.
Yeah, Cash is looking pretty empty, and as we say that, you know, there's players playing close in construction. So if the Sledge does eventually want to try swing, there is going to be cross angles held, and he should be taking them very, very quickly. But still, up that deployable shield is going to be shot, as Sledge is going to take a decent chunk of damage there from the player playing close on wall. As a few shot there comes out from the Jaeger, and it's going to bring us down to a 5 versus 4. Sledge on a sliver of HP now after getting tagged up once again. But a refrag is going to be gained here from the Ace, and that's going to be a shotgun in hand. It's going to shut him down, send him to an early grave. And now we're in a 4 versus 3 situation. Still 50 seconds on the clock. A lot of time here to work with for the side of the attackers. But still, those smoke waves are going to start ringing out as Diana is already close on the wall. As it run through the smoke, is not going to net anything there, as the SMG-11 is going to shut her down very quite swiftly. Some shots through the wall, not going to be enough, as the player is able just to kind of tight close to the wall. 3 versus 3 situation though. 20 something seconds on the clock, and that Iana's actually going to get res in this kind of situation. But a swing here from the Jaeger breaks his battles very wisely, and it's going to be Ash now of Thumbs in a 1 versus 2 situation. And this is surely around here for the side of IAS, as the Ash is just trapped in the bathroom, and a cross angle is held. And that's all she wrote for the side of Goldinis, as IAS take a very comfortable round, what it seems to be.
Yeah, I mean, IAS kind of leveling the playing field, making it a 4-4 score right now. It could be going overtime as much as we hate to see it. I mean, these teams are both playing very well. I mean, it's kind of just a trade-off of kills. Goldinis yet again. It was kind of similar to the previous match. It's really similar. The start was extremely well. The start game, I mean, the first 3 defensive rounds, even 4 defensive rounds, they actually got under their belt. But IAS managed to kind of clap back and secure a bit more for themselves and kind of even out the playing field. So, I mean, with that in mind, it shouldn't be too far from the previous match. Maybe there is a bit of an exception that we don't need to necessarily go into overtime, as in maybe one of the teams can get to the 7 score before the other. But what is this sight we're going to be seeing? Bar, I mean, you know,
It's an unusual one.
it's unusual, but I mean, hey, first time for everything, I guess.
It's the first time for everything, and who knows, this could be the site that throws the side of Goldinis off completely. So Goldinis, you know, everyone has attacked CC, everyone has attacked master bedroom, everyone has attacked the basement. You know, they're basic, they're your go-tos you can do in your sleep, it's essential. For Bar is a bit of a mix-up. Not everyone has attacked Bar that often, and it's definitely a site that we don't see too often in the pool either. So it definitely could be something. If the side of IES have something planned for this could definitely be something that could put a spanner in the works here for the side of Goldinis, as Bar typically, it's not known as a good site. Its win rate is abysmal, to say the least, but still, it can be, you know, just such a surprise for the attackers that they just mightn't know what to do, and it could cause a very, you know, a big stall into a round, as some shots are going to be traded back and forth. No one's going to lose their lives, and a lot of pressure is going to be happening here to the Oryx, as he is just going to be a thorn in the side here of Goldinis until they can get him cleared.
Yeah, it's a very kind of like expressed, or more like a split up hold from the defenders. You have people upstairs, you have people in kitchen, and that exact person I was talking about in kitchen does get taken out by the sledge. A very nice shot. Close for the Oryx to actually maybe trade it back, but not close enough, as they're pretty much next to side right now. There seems to be a lot of contest on the side of main stairs. Oh, what a shot onto the castle. A very nice one. The nade comes out. Won't be hitting anyone as for now, but there's still some verticality. Unfortunately, though, not anyone is on site as the plant is going down. The hatch could be getting dropped onto pole, and there it comes, the verticality. The Maestro gets one. He drops onto Jim. It's a 3-4 situation. 1 minute and 30 on the clock. There comes the main. He exposes himself again, and could we be seeing a follow-up shot from the castle? No, we do not. The nades are coming out, but Bandit is not going to be going down so easily, as this Maestro is in some hot shots right now.
The flash is just not hitting the markers, and no follow-up on the peak either, as now we're in a 3 versus 3 situation. That diffuser is going to get hot on the ground, though. Sturms is going to, as Valkyr's able to just get herself back up out of the site, just get into position. And beautiful headshot comes out there from the Maestro. Now 3 versus 1 situation. This is all slipped away from the side of Goldinis, as the Maestro looking absolutely impactful here, but the headshot comes out here from the Yana, and it's all going to be playing for here, as it's just going to be some vertical being held, as the last 2 defenders are going to be on the top floor. And all the Yana has to do is potentially get the diffuser down here, as I don't think they're aware, as some shots to the floorboard are going to land. But the Yana hits a beautiful headshot there, and that's going to be taken down the Bandit, as it's all going to be deft down to the Valk of Joker in a 1 versus 1 situation here, as it looks to be Killer looking to try and get this diffuser down on the ground, as the Valk is trying to use the vertical hold, but there's no hole there to see where the diffuser is going down. And this round could potentially be going into the hands of the side of Goldinis, unless the drop comes out here from the Valk. The drop is surely going to be heard, and that is going to cause the Yana to come off the defuse. This is looking like a bit of a time game here, though, as some free-fire shots are going to be done.
Ooh.
As some headshot comes out from Killer, and that's a beautiful shot there from the Yana to try and take down the Valk. And that's another 1v3 clutch, 1vx anyway, to say the least. And this game is just so back and forth. I cannot predict what's going to happen. Keeping us on the edge of our seats here. Oh, it's stressful.
It's all over the place. I mean, those shots were so close, even from the side of the Bandit player. I mean, he was just millimeters away from actually taking the headshot, and he even got the pre-fire down earlier than the Yana, but unfortunately it does depend on aim, especially when it comes to frags, and of course it's going to be Goldinis getting round number 5, their 5th round, and round number 9 to be exact, as this is looking really close. I mean, if Goldinis right now win, they could put a lot more pressure onto the side of IAS. I mean, considering the fact that if they go 6-2, IAS then needs to win 2 rounds in a row, which, with how they've been kind of performing, is questionable. I mean, they definitely had the upper hand right now on the attacking, or on the defensive side, at least for a while. Especially with a bit of a comeback, Maestro dropping, wasting a good time and kind of pressuring the side of Pool. It was very good, but then it kind of just dropped. I mean, the Yana managed to get some shots back, and just to finish it off, take out the bandit. Did get faked out for the plan though, which was very close, but at the end it managed to work out for them. Now they're going to be going back downstairs. We also see the Oryx, which has been being used a lot with the Valkyrie and Solus, meaning IAS. I'm seeing a lot of roam potential, a lot of time wasted right here. We already see one upstairs. I think that's the Valkyrie around CC. And yeah, also they're getting some pressure on it. And of course, to finish it off, it's going to be Kitchen. And I'm expecting C4s.
Oh yeah, C4s are in the plentiful here, and really, there's a C4 actually. We said that C4 is going to pop off from the Capcan, not going to quite land anything low, so that's going to be a little bit unfortunate, as the Valkyrie is just lurking, just waiting to see if anyone can be found, as just kind of trying to stay as elusive as possible. I don't think the side of Goldinis are aware of that box position, as the Ying is going to find a quick double kill though in sight, as they have already just pushed in deep, as that smoke grenades are going to get tossed down. That diffuser is actually going to go hot on the ground, as the Hibana is going to fall, but that diffuser is going to go down hot on the ground. That is now stuck, as that impact is going to take a little bit of damage off the Solus. Not quite enough though to do any severe damage, as the Lion finds one, and now it's going to be the Yana also going to fall as well. So now we're going to be in a 2 versus 2 situation, as the diffuser is also going to get defused, and that's going to be Oryx sticking it, and he gets away with it. What does...
Yes.
Can you explain to me, Puffer, what just happened? Can you explain how that happened?
I do think it was because 2 of the people on the attacking side actually managed to get downed. So the last one was on the side of Blue, I think, so he can really prevent the Oryx from defusing. The Ying did catch me by surprise, actually getting taken out by the Oryx, and it was a very quick and forward action from the Oryx, just instantly going for the defuse. And while the teammate Legion was just kind of supporting him on the way, they're kind of taking out the opposite team, or the opposite team players, downing them so they couldn't really reach that diffuser. It kind of worked out just perfectly. It was all in sync, and this is looking a bit more repetitive to the previous match. We're back at a 5-5 score, and well, IAS definitely made some sort of a round comeback, because they're going to be taking the timeout I was kind of hoping for, and not hoping for, but kind of mentioning that it is a useful thing. And while they were the ones that won the round, it was still just by chance, kind of. I mean, there was definitely scope. I'm not saying anything like that, but they got into sight so early. It was a 3v5 for Goldinis. They had a Ying in sight planting smokes down everything. They even had hatch open. It was so sudden, and IAS did manage to get away with it, but to be put into that situation is already dangerous enough on its own.
Honestly, I think it was kind of just a lack of awareness and just kind of overall positioning from the side of Goldinis to be able to let that post defuse go down. And the fact that they were able to even let the attackers retake, or defenders even retake sight in that kind of fashion when you're on that much of a disadvantage. There's really questions you have to ask about what Goldinis were doing in that situation. IAS were able just to waltz their way in, take a couple of frags, and get the few downs where they needed, and it was able to go into a post-plan situation. And, that's pretty much all it was. But we're actually going to see a bit of an interesting setup here, though. If we have a look into the lounges, there's kind of a shield propped up looking into that main door. It's not something we typically do see that often, so it's nice to kind of see little pocket strats, little small tweaks and adjustments being made just to try and make things a little bit easier. And that's the whole purpose of that shield, as I'm pretty sure everyone is aware, but we might as well just, point it out. That's just going to be slowing down vertical nades. That's pretty much, stopping that vertical play, stopping those vertical nades being used. As we have seen vertical nades being used on this map multiple times, and they are
Yeah.
absolutely dire when they do happen, and they can pretty much change the whole outcome of a round. So, adapting to that is not unusual. But this is actually going to see a Maverick being played. Buffer.
Ooh,
This is the first time we've actually seen it this game. So
yeah.
this is going to be quite interesting, as this potentially could find one, as there's a little bit of an outline, not quite enough though to take anyone down, as that is going to be quite the pixel to try and take this sledge off of the breach. But it looks like a successful Maverick trick is what we're going to be seeing here, as that is indeed what we do see. That's something we don't see very often. That's in love. That is what we like to see here, Buffer.
We're getting a bit of flashbacks. We had the Zofia stun along with the Maverick trick on the main wall. This is giving me a lot of nostalgia, to say the least, as we always love to see it. The Maverick not being used at all in competitive. I feel like a Maverick is not being used pretty much at all. Yeah, I mean, competitive, he's kind of rarest sight, at least from my experience. And, being this effective on this map is very useful. I mean, ICOG's getting one, there's the second, I'm assuming all from the Maverick with a third. Oh my goodness! A refrag comes in, but a bit too late. Three teammates were actually lost in the process, as of course Maverick is kind of on his tippy toes. He gets taken out, and of course Ramatov, of course with thumbs, are there to finish the job, making it a 5-6 score. Meaning, one more round for the side of Goldinis, and I guess we know who's going to be taking the win today. Yes.
Potentially, as we've seen, same with on Villa last map. It was looking like all it was in favor of IAS. They went to the 6-5. They had the match point, and then we had an absolute flurry coming out from the side of Goldinis, and they just kind of took it away from them. And we could potentially see that again here, as IAS they're just looking stalled. They haven't awoken this map. Last map they were there at times, but this map they just kind of seem they're just not there.
Yeah. Oh, Jim and bedroom. We see also Echo getting brought into play and back with the Maverick. So, yeah, most definitely Breach is going to be considered here. I take it back. It's going to be the ace. With common with Dokkaebi, so we could be just going for a quick Breach, throw the ace on main Breach, Dokkaebi, EMP impacted just for a second, leave one player outside main Breach to get off the rotation, and then move on to construction. It's an effective strategy, could work, most definitely would be put into plan, but right now we don't have a mirror. So, most of the time IAS has not been going kind of for main breach. Well, they tried to go for main breach on Jacuzzi, but it didn't ever work, and that was the times the mirror was actually included on bathroom. This time there's going to be no mirror, so it could actually work out for the better of the side of IAS, but there's also a lot more focused attention for the side of Logi. So yeah, I mean, right now it's going to be a bit tough. I feel like Goldinis right now most definitely have a chance, and this is looking very favorable for them.
One thing I want to point out about the mirror not being played is the fact the mirror is banned such at a high rate. You not bringing the mirror isn't the most out of pocket kind of thing. You kind of have to plan for that mirror being taken off the board 95% of the time. So them kind of planning and not using the mirror in this situation just means we know mirror might be banned at times. We're not going to bring her. She's on the board. We're still not going to opt for it. As we say that though, the hot tub breach is going to get popped, and there's actually going to be players down below by the main stairs, and there's just going to be a heavy presence. So we might actually be seeing some of these players in Logi get vertical naded, which potentially could gain a few frags here. The nade's going to get thrown. Will it bounce off that? It's not going to land. It's not going to find any markers. Has some shots to the wall. Actually, that nade from below, if I am correct, that was a nade from below actually, and that's going to find one. And that's the opening frag here, and it's looking quite strong here for the side Goldinis. As I said, although the refrag is going to be regained, as this Nook is just sitting in a very precarious position here, as just kind of waiting, buying the time, and just waiting as the smoke vape's going to swing out. It's not going to actually do any damage to the my brain just froze there for a second. It's not going to do anything to the Nook, as just able to get out of sight there and just kind of get himself back into a little bit of safety, as the Ionic clones are going to be flying up through that main stairs.
Yeah, kind of just scouting on the entire side. This poor Goyo doesn't even have a second to rest. Ping after ping. Well, they most definitely know where he is. I mean, the 1 minute tick down is going to be, or could at least be, very essential at the current moment. 50 seconds on the clock. It's a 4v4. Never mind, a 2v4 for the side of Goldinis, looking extremely favorable. They may not have the time, but they definitely have the position. And of course, right now the situation they're in. I mean, we have one in Katrashin takes out Diana, another one bearing 9 taking it out. Ramatov takes out 1, and it's a 1v1 situation. HP is close, but oh my goodness, it's going to be Ramatov taking it, as the 1v1 is going to be seeming to be better for the side of Nook. What a shot for the side of Goldinis. It seemed like they're going to be taking the victory home with them. You know, the first match not looking so good, but the second one taking it home on their map, and of course Clubhouse to finish it off pretty smoothly. Pretty good ending and good start. In the middle it was a bit scuffed, but you know, it works out in the end. So well played.
A game we have just witnessed. What a series, and it's just I'm left speechless at half of that, as the games were just so sporadic. They were everywhere. No one. It was just kind of a bit of a toss, you know, bit of a mess up, and it's, you know, IAS the favorites pretty much eliminated. What's
Yeah.
your opinions on that? That's
I
quite the
mean,
upset.
I'm just happy I went for the, you know, for the Goldinis pick right there on Clubhouse. I guess I won the bet. Now you owe me your liver. But besides that, I mean, well played to both teams. It was definitely a good performance. A long one to say, but you know, there always has to be a winner. But I don't think we have much else to say, so we should be finishing it off. A very nice BO3. What was that, Epsilon? Oh, the Titan series. Oh, you are right.
Ooh, the
A
big Titan
shameless
series.
plug. A shameless plug. We always got to put it in.
Yeah,
Besides,
and some massive teams though in the Titan series. So we have
ooh,
Koi, we have Secret, if I am correct. Secret have
never
dropped
mind.
out. We'll just revert that back. And I'm pretty sure what other teams? Can you remember any teams, Puff? So we've got Heroic, 10-star, some absolute major T1 team, some, you know, some massive T1 teams coming in here. So definitely something to be seen. The Limited, TT9, some absolutely amazing massive teams.
Ooh.
So we'll definitely have some spicy matchups here coming in for Titan series, which is due to start very, very soon, actually, to be fair. So stay tuned for that here on the Talent League channel. As you know, myself and Puffer might get to cast some of those games. Who knows?
Who knows? And of course, if any of you viewers in the chat are not also hyping up your teams and these teams that were named, you may think, oh, I want to be a caster. Oh, I want to be a producer. Yada, yada, yada. Join up. If you think you can do it, give yourself a shot and we'll see how it goes. But that was all the shameless plug. I think we're both tired. Epsilon needs to probably take a dookie, and we should be off for today. Bye-bye.